fire, over 2,900 passing yards so far this season. What does this young superstar, Nathan Rourke, have in store for us tonight? But it won't be easy. You see, Cody Fajardo looking to lead his Riders to their 6th win of the season. These two teams meeting back on July the 29th. The BC Lions getting the better of Fajardo in the line, 32-17 that game. It's never easy, though. In Regina tonight, we got a heavyweight matchup, and we can't wait for this matchup in week number 11. Kate Burness alongside David Sanchez, Dave Naylor, Milt Stiegel. Milt, you know, we said it before the last game, both these teams needed the win. Well, if you look at the standings in the West, too, and I know everyone's trying to catch the Bombers, but also trying to prove they're that 1B team.
Right.
Both teams really wanting this win tonight as well.
And these Rough Riders have an opportunity to do something. It's pretty great. And I'm going to look at the big picture, not just this game. Their next 4 games, yep. BC, Winnipeg, and Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. And I think myself, Davis, and Matt, we all said if they win one of these games, they'll be lucky. Yep. So I'm going to challenge them to see how many of these games they can win, because they have to be concerned not only with the teams in front of them, but with the team who just won is behind them now, these Elks who have 3 victories. So they have to concern themselves with that. So I know they're not looking at the stretch that they have in front of them. They're concerned with this one, but they have a lot of work to do, and it starts with this tonight's game.
They got to be thinking about how they slow down this BC Lions offense. I mean, Nathan Rourke has thrown for almost 1,000 yards the last 2 weeks. I mean, that is astounding number. And Chez, when we talked about the Calgary-BC game last week, I said, is Calgary going to be able to keep up with BC? They had a defensive pick 6 and a return touchdown, and they still couldn't win the game. That's the same challenge tonight for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Look, Saskatchewan's defense can keep the scoring down, because you look at the personnel they have on defense with A.C. Leonard back, with Garrett Marino back, and Pete Robertson. They can put pressure on Nathan Rourke and disrupt. But I still think the offense is going to be challenged to keep up with the Lions tonight.
I agree. The offense is going to be challenged. And once again, we feel like we say it every week. And there's a lot of teams in the league are in the same situation. We say it all comes down and boils down to the quarterback.
Yep.
There's 2. Yep. I would say this. There's 2 things in this league that have been consistent for a while now. Your quarterback and your offensive line are the things that you seem to need, and they're not easily found.
No.
You can find receivers, you can find DBs, and I hate to say it, but that's the reality of it.
No, it's
your
true.
Offensive line and your quarterback. And so I believe that defensive line of Sask gets after BC with the home advantage being rested, and that's a good front. I believe Cody Fajardo is going to have to show us something. I don't think he's played up to what he expects or what we expect from him or what the fans expect. He's going to have to show today.
And talk about Cody Fajardo. All the talk has been Nathan Rourke, of course. But Cody Fajardo is in the market where the fans, after a while, aren't going to keep giving him that leeway. They're going to say, okay, it's time for you to put up. You know, we know how great you can be. We saw that in 2019. But what have you done for us lately? And we know he was injured. He seemed to get his mobility back last week. But this is the game where he can show those Rough Rider fans, the CFL, the country of Canada, that he can still get it done. It's not going to be an easy task. He's going against the hottest player in the league right now, but this is the game where he needs to show that he can still be a good quarterback in this league.
I'm watching for one thing early in this first half, and I will talk about it at halftime. I want to see his balls down the field, 30 plus throws down the field. Can you lead your receivers down the field? I want to see deep balls to Duke, where Duke has to come back to the ball, get out there early, give him a chance, give Jason Moss a chance.
Yeah.
You look at this week, Craig Dickinson, kind of called out his offensive line this week for the way they've been playing. So both in terms of giving protection for Cody Fajardo. Last week, Jamal Morrow couldn't run the ball in the second half at all. That's going to take some pressure off Fajardo. They weren't able to do it a week ago against Edmonton. Tougher task to do it against the BC Lions.
So many things. I love watching defenses come in now against Nathan Rourke, though, because we thought Calgary had figured him out, and then all of a sudden in the second half they make all these adjustments, and Rourke is absolutely spectacular. The Riders, the Lions, coming up next on TSN.
Everything that kills me makes
Mosaic Stadium ready to rock for the second half of a CFL on TSN doubleheader, and we've got a good one tonight as the Lions roll into town, having won 4 in a row, including a Week 8 victory right here in Regina. The Riders getting back in the win column last week and kicking off his stretch tonight. 4 straight games against the best in the West.
Kid Canada is putting on a show this summer in the Canadian Football League. 24-year-old Nathan Rourke, the Canadian, born in Victoria, grew up in Oakville, just coming off a come-from-behind win against the Calgary Stampeders, where he threw for a season-high 488 passing yards. How do you stop Nathan Rourke, the hottest quarterback in the CFL? Well, the Riders hope that the addition of Pete Robertson back in the lineup will help. Still tied for the league lead with 7 sacks after missing 4 games.
Calgary thought they might have figured Rourke out early last week, but he had a few more tricks up his sleeve in the second half of that game as BC came back to make it 4 wins in a row. They look to make it 5 tonight at Mosaic, where the Riders have lost their last 2. It's the second half of a Friday night football doubleheader. Thank you very much for joining us, and we're about to get underway in the first of a home-and-home, a huge home-and-home between the BC Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Vedvik set to get things going, and we are underway at a jam-packed Mosaic. This will be taken at the 10 and brought back out towards the 30 and stopped there. First return for Shane Wynn joining this BC Lions group, and there he is, Nathan Rourke. Another big test tonight.
On pace for over 6,500 passing yards, which is pushing record-breaking pace for Nathan Rourke, completing 80% of his passes, a 7-1 record. Again, come from behind win against Calgary last week, where he threw for 488.
1,300 yards passing in his last 3 games for Rourke. A healthy Riders defense, the challenge tonight. They'll get it to Lucky Whitehead, made one man miss, pushes it ahead, close to the 34-yard line. Let's take a look at this BC Lions offense, brought to you by Expedia.
Well, up front, every one of those guys have played every game. That really helps with an offensive line. But Suk Chung is in game 100 of his CFL career, so congratulations to him. They get James Butler back. He did not play against the Calgary Stampeders last week. Butler, their leading tailback.
Bruce Anderson played last week, 9 carries, 37 yards. Butler, one of the best in the league so far this season. 4 receivers to the wide side, left for Rourke, looks to the right, throws to the right, and he's got a first down to the right as well as they'll push it up towards the 50, and that is Keon Hatcher getting involved in the offense early.
Yeah, it's kind of pick your poison with this receiving core. It's arguably the best in the league, and Keon Hatcher, back when they played Saskatchewan, was their leader. Over 100 yards for him in that game. 14-yard gain early on in this matchup.
It was 110 yards in Week 8 for Hatcher. 2 100-yard games on the season for number 4 in white tonight. Rourke throwing again, in trouble, gets it away, and it will fall incomplete. They did get some pressure busting through that offensive line, and they'll need a lot of this tonight against Rourke.
Well, they get Pete Robertson and A.C. Leonard back in the lineup. That's combined 10 sacks between the two of them. Pete Robertson was leading the league, still is tied for the league lead after missing 4 games. Larry Dean and Darnell Sankey on pace for 100 tackles each. Only Adam Bighill and Solomon Elamimian have done that in the CFL. And Roland Milligan got his first interception last week versus Edmonton.
27-year-old's been a nice fit on this defense. 36 tackles on the season as well. 2nd and 10 here for Rourke.
Whoa.
And multiple BC Lions looked like they were moving early there.
Yeah, chalk one up for the crowd. And the crowd will be important here. Try and somehow take Nathan Rourke and bump him off the track he's on, because
procedure, BC number 86, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Javon Catoy, the guilty party.
Back in the lineup, Garrett Marino. He didn't get into the starting lineup, but will rotate in and will play all game, and that's already borderline right there. Off a 4-game suspension.
Sometimes you don't learn a lesson. 2nd and 15. Rourke with this crowd all over him. Steps back, has time, has Rhymes, and they got a first down, takes it inside the 50. And Rhymes is having a huge season, also getting involved early in this game.
Yeah, huge season is an understatement. 3 receivers for the BC Lions, including Dominic Rhymes, are on pace for over 1,300 yards. That has never happened in the Canadian Football League.
3 of their guys are top 10 right now. Burnham has actually got the 5th best average per game in the league at 78.3 yards. So 4 guys having just remarkable seasons. Rourke now is going to look down the field to Burnham. He's got him at the 10, trips and stumbles. But a huge pickup in the first catch of the game for Burnham. Goes big for 38.
I'm going to put Brian Burnham in that 3rd receiver spot to the short side of the field, and he runs the corner route right beside Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead pulls the coverage up. Now that leaves a one-on-one with Derek Moncrief trying to catch up on Brian Burnham. He separates, and ball drops right to him. He just trips him up, or he goes in and scores.
Nathan Rourke has started this game 4 of 5 for 79 yards. Has his team inside the 10. Just over 75% in the red zone so far this year. Rourke's going to be throwing again. Looking towards the end zone for Rhymes, falling, and he almost had it, but there's a flag on the play. As he was going down, looked like he might have a chance to haul that one in. Jeremy Clark in coverage, getting the flag.
Pass interference, Saskatchewan number 37. Foul occurred in the end zone. The ball was placed on the 1-yard line. Automatic, first down.
Take a look at the coverage. Yeah, I mean, there was some hand fighting going on between both Rhymes and Jeremy Clark here, but the fact there was another push as he was going down and they tangled up.
Pipkin into the game and takes it in for the touchdown, and the BC Lions go on top early. A very successful drive to start this game. 7 plays, 81 yards, finished off by Antonio Pipkin.
Well, for BC Lions fans that have been watching all season long, Nathan Rourke usually stays in short yardage.
I had a double take. I had to lolook at it twice. I was like, that's not Rourke.
But I like this idea. Antonio Pipkin comes in. He's a strong 6'3", 225-pound quarterback that can follow that offensive line in short yardage.
He's done this before.
And it takes away a few hits on Nathan Rourke.
Rourke with 7 rushing touchdowns on the season, a few of them just like the one that Pipkin just put in. Sean White out for the extra point. And the BC Lions 7-0 lead. This was a big chunk on this drive. Burnham for 38 to set up a major, and the Lions lead 7-0.
Well, how about this start for BC Lions fans? Get their quarterback and their offense on the field right out of the gate. They go 7 plays, 81 yards, the biggest to Brian Burnham to set up this pass interference by Jeremy Clark that led to a 1-yard Antonio Pipkin touchdown, and the Lions up 7-0.
A catch for Burnham, a catch for Rhymes, a catch for Hatcher, and a catch for Lucky Whitehead. That's how you get your offense involved early if you're that man. Nathan Rourke.
Maybe 2Z.
Back to the tablet, getting ready for another possession. Riders are going to get a crack at it. Here goes Alford, just inside the 10. He'll take it patiently back to the 20. Stays on his feet, trying to get to the outside, down the field. And eventually they'll track him down. He goes from one side of the field all the way to the other on a short return, which sets up things for Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, good comeback win last week against Edmonton for Cody Fajardo. Big 4th quarter, got his legs going again. 51 yards rushing. That's his highest total of the season, but sort of normal for him when he's healthy. Felt like the leg was way better last week against the Elks.
They will start on their own 19. And they'll hand it off, and a good push right up the middle here on the first touch of the day for Jamal Morrow, who comes into this game 2nd in the league in rushing yards. He picks up 9 more here.
Yeah, 13 for 46, but, you know, I'm going to count tonight those little swing passes that Jamal Morrow takes, too. He's caught 30 passes this season at this point in the campaign, and I think Morrow, those extended runs are as important for the balance in this offense.
Butler also 30 catches on the year for the BC Lions, so both of these guys getting involved in the passing game. 2nd and 1. Back to Morrow again, pushing it ahead, and he's got a big hole and a big pickup again. Takes it just outside the 40, and what a start for number 25. 13 more yards here.
A big block off the right side of the offensive line. Some changes up front. We'll get to that in a second, but they've made some changes at tackle, wanting to get the run game going, and the protection for Cody Fajardo. Look at the size of that hole for Jamal Morrow. Into the secondary, tackled by Marcus Sales.
All the way up to the Rider 41. Fajardo out into the flat. Tevin Jones struck down by TJ Lee, but a decent little pickup on first down. Here's a look at this Riders offense.
Yeah, they changed both tackles. Taron Vaughn out, not playing tonight. Natai Rogers released by the team, so Jamal Campbell takes over for Rogers. Lauderdale takes over for Taron Vaughn. And Duke Williams, with a big touchdown late in that game last week against Edmonton, has created a nacho special here at Mosaic Stadium. More on that later on.
Looks like Duke is down right now after this play. He was blocking on the pass out to Tevin Jones. It ended up going for just 3 yards. And now he's being tended to by the Riders training staff. We'll bring you up to speed when we return. Duke Williams is up and appears to be okay, so Rider Nation can exhale for now. Here's a second look.
Yeah, he's trying to walk off what looks like a knee to the hip from TJ Lee. It wasn't a shot by Lee on purpose. He got blocked into him, and that knee right in the hip area. He'll be walking that off.
2nd and 7 is where we sit. Just inside the Rider 45. Fajardo looks to his left. Now comes over the middle. Completion is made. It'll be short of a first down as he gets Wesley Lewis involved in the ball game, but they're going to be 2 yards shy of what they needed after a 5-yard pickup for Lewis.
I was going to say, it looked like he was getting close to that 50-yard line mark. That would have made it an interesting decision for Craig Dickinson, but when he got pushed back and then tackled again, that was it. Now it's 3rd and 2, and you got to kick it away.
Shane Wynn back to return it. 29-year-old drawing into the lineup for the Lions tonight. Vedvik's kick comes down just outside the 20. Wynn stays on his feet, pushes it ahead, just shy of the 30 on the return for the BC Lions. If they can get a dynamic return game going, look out, because the offense usually takes care of business no matter where they start from. And if Wynn can put him in some good spots and make things easier for that man, Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, and the defense is playing quite well also in BC, and it's probably not talked about very much because of the play of Nathan Rourke in this offense. It's netted over 1,000 yards in the last 2 games. But the BC defense leads the league in stopping the run and pass, yardage-wise. They're starting to come on and make headlines of their own.
Yeah, they allowed just over 21 points per game, and that's including the big 40 from the Stampeders last week. Rourke this time starts on his own 29. He's going to look down the field for Rhymes early, and it'll fall incomplete. Jeremy Clark in coverage again against number 19.
Well, that was a good decision by the official down there not to call pass interference. It was close. There was a push by Clark, but the ball was not catchable. And something you don't see often or haven't this year from Nathan Rourke is an overthrow like that. But Jeremy Clark's got to be careful. Don't put it in the hands of the officials to make that decision on the fly.
Rhymes couldn't get to that one. He had 101 yards and a touchdown last week. Caught 7 of the 10 targets that were thrown his way. 2nd and 10 for Rourke. 3 receivers to the right. Looks that way. Throws that way. And it's intercepted on the far side of the field. Larry Dean looked like it was deflected. Came right to Dean. And a huge turnover over here for the Riders defense. Nathan Rourke. Couple of interceptions last week. This one bouncing into the hands of Larry Dean. And the Riders, just like that, are in business. Well, it is nacho night here in Regina as they have some fun with Duke Williams, obviously getting a fine this week for his celebration last weekend, and they never got any up to the booth, but the crowd loved him out there tonight.
Well, it's nacho night because of it, and you know there was all kinds of discussion on the fine. We'll get to that in a second, but yeah, Duke Williams after his touchdown in Edmonton right into the crowd, which were Rider fans in that end zone.
After an interception by Dean, his second of the year, Fajardo dumps this off to Morrow. Here's a flashback to Duke Williams after that touchdown last week, a huge touchdown late in the game.
Yeah, late in the game, and the comeback complete after this one. Duke Williams catches this and then immediately heads into the end zone. Now, there was a bunch of Rider fans in there. I'm not sure if that mattered to him, but he goes in there and grabs the nachos, went back after the game and signed some autographs for that group.
Fajardo down the field looking for Duke here, and that one will be picked off. Sliding underneath it is Marcus Sales, and it's his first interception of the season.
Davis Sanchez before the game talking on the panel about wanting to see Cody Fajardo lead his receivers down the field. Well, he does that here. Duke Williams running that corner route, ball way out in front of him, and Williams can't get to it before Sales does. That's a good catch at the warning track type of interception.
Right over the shoulder, dropped in a bucket. And the 9th career interception for Marcus Sales. Second year with that BC defense. Now on the 25 for Rourke with a 7-0 lead midway through the first quarter at Mosaic. Quick hitter. And that will be completed to Brian Burnham, his second catch of the game.
Yeah, it looked a little awkward for Duke Williams at the end of that play. Let's watch him again on this corner route from that 3 spot again. And it looks like he gets caught up and tied up there, a little trip, and then has to try to regroup on the corner route. He flattened it out a little too much because of that contact down the field and couldn't get there. Marcus Sales does.
2nd and 4 for Rourke. Has some time this time and has a man downfield. It's Rhymes. He'll take it out to almost the 50-yard line. And once again, Rhymes comes up big on 2nd down for Rourke.
Well, let's watch the composure. He has just thrown an interception. Comes back next series, not phased, has a nice throwing lane, and that might be one of the goals for the Saskatchewan defense. Hands up in the front 7. If you can't get there, get your hands up.
104 yards already for Rourke. This time they'll hand it off, and a nice push ahead for James Butler on his first carry of the football game. This will go for 7.
He's already at 100 yards and a pace for well over 400 again tonight. And we're just getting started here.
Just over 10 minutes into this ball game. Rourke barking out instructions for a 2nd and 3 play at midfield. Right towards that first down marker. Burnham will hang on for his 3rd catch of the game, and that will be enough for a BC Lions first down.
You know, Nathan Rourke, he processes the defense so quickly. It looks like Milligan down there needs a little extra attention, but he processes so quickly and has that quick release to his receivers that you're not always going to get pressure. That D-line, if they get their hands up, can try and block some passing lanes.
Welcome back to Regina, all of you watching, and these two guys, two big pieces back for this Riders defense.
Yeah, off the edge, and different style of pass rushers, but AC Leonard led the league last year, and Pete Robertson off to such a great start, still tied for first with 7 sacks. And but again, even though they're premier rushers, getting your hands up. You watch the Winnipeg defense, Jackson Jeffcoat and Willie Jefferson off the edge.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't get the pressure on the quarterback that they like, but they can block the throwing lanes. And these guys have long reach as well between Robertson and AC Leonard. So get up the field in your lane as a pass rusher and get your hands up. And if Rourke has to throw around those hands, then the accuracy of that throw may be off a little bit, and that's where the defensive secondary can maybe take advantage of it. In theory.
Sounds easy.
In theory against 12.
First and 10 on the 49. Throwing here, another completion down inside the 35. He goes back to Rhymes again for the 3rd time in this football game.
So again, this is a throw right over the middle. So take a look at the D line here. There's one here and one here. Interior, and then AC Leonard and P. Robinson off the edge. Go ahead and run it, guys, and watch. No hands. No hands up. There's one late. Very late from Lanier.
Out to Lucky Whitehead. Takes it inside the 30, looking for some room on the far side of the field. It'll be forced out around the 25-yard line. His 2nd catch of the game as well.
The downside for defensive linemen when you do that, you get your hands up, is you can get a shot right to the chest, right to the midsection. That's what the offensive line.
That's the price you got to pay, though, right?
But it's the price you got to pay. Try and block those passing lanes.
Saw Calgary last week basically just rush 3 guys for the majority of that football game, and it worked well early. Whoa. Now a bobble by Rourke, and where is that ball? Bounced ahead, and it looks like his offensive line may have saved him here, and it is in fact Godber's on top of it, but let's try to figure out what happened in there.
Yeah, Peter Godber is the center, and he never ever got it. It looked like it just rolled forward or something. Let's a better look at it just to the left of your screen here. Yeah, it just rolled into the ankle. Godber made the mistake. Godber got
help
the ball.
from the command center, we have an illegal snap. So procedure on BC. Be a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be a 2nd down.
So that's an interesting eye.
Yeah, you can't move the ball. You can't move the ball prior to just getting it back to your quarterback. So even if that is moved just slightly, you see it sometimes when they rock and they move the ball just a few inches. That will be a legal procedure as well. So that one called legal procedure. That's the right call made by the official. It puts them in 2nd and long.
They had Pipkin out there anyway on the 3rd down. They were ready to push ahead. Now they'll get Rourke back out, 2nd and 7. Another crack at it here. He's got 133 yards passing already, 2.5 to go in the 1st quarter. Now they're going to get some pressure. Steps up in the pocket, stays on his feet. Now he's going to take off. Here goes Rourke down inside the 20, down to the 10 with a slide. Flag at the end of the play, behind the play. But what a disappearing act from Rourke there to get away and pick up some yards.
Pete Robertson going, okay. 4 games, by the way.
Major foul, horse collar tackle. Saskatchewan number 53. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, 1st down.
Pete Robertson, AC Leonard did not play against BC when these two teams met a few weeks back. So this is the first shot Pete Robertson has as trying to corral Nathan Rourke, and got away from him there.
Darnell Sankey, horse collar. That was the call
like
right
that
there. They got another look at it here, and quick boo from the thousands on hand. 1st and goal now from the 5 for Rourke. Looks towards the corner for Burnham. Intercepted. What a play! Moncrief says not this time. He slides underneath, and the 2nd interception of the game of this Riders defense.
Well, Saskatchewan and Jason Shivers are comfortable with the matchup of linebacker Derek Moncrief going one-on-ones with Brian Burnham. They're going to send pressure, and they're going to leave Moncrief in one-on-ones. Now, early in that first drive, Burnham got in behind Moncrief with the big play to set up the first touchdown. Moncrief wins this one in great position underneath Burnham, and then high points the football. Jason Shivers comfortable with that matchup. Linebacker against one of the premier slotbacks in the game.
League-leading 4th interception of the season for Moncrief. Now they'll get it back to Morrow, pushing ahead. Heavy contact before he could get it up to the 30. Look at the BC Lions defense.
By the way, that's the 4th interception for Moncrief. That's Matthew Betts off the edge, leads the team, I should say, in sacks with 5. One change in the linebacking core. Manuel Ragamba will play for Luchez Purifoy, who's gone back to safety to play for Quincy Moje.
Fajardo on 2nd down, far side of the field. And he's got a completion to Tevin Jones for his 2nd catch of the ball game. 7 yards is enough for a 1st down.
Sudden change situations, you want to take full advantage of them and be real aggressive offensively while that team is regrouping after an interception. Plus territory interception takes points off the board.
Up to their own 37. Handed off this time, I believe, to Hickson. And he has a nice burst. He's averaging 7.3 yards per carry so far this season.
Yeah, and had a nice 50 yards. Just on 8 carries, hit 50 yards against the Lions a few weeks ago.
Certainly a guy I think you're comfortable mixing into this offense. Might even be the wrong word for it. McInnes down on the knee here. Hickson on the year, 31 carries for 227 yards. Has a touchdown, has the team's longest play of the year as well, which was 63-yarder. And then you've got Jamal Morrow, who came into the league 2nd in rushing. This is a Riders team, especially when you can mix in a little Cody Fajardo. This is a Riders team that can certainly run the football, and it'll lead to some success.
Well, I think they have to. You know, I really do. I think balance for them is crucially important. Other teams can get by throwing it 55 times. I'm not sure the Riders can at this point. They are getting some receivers. Shaq Evans is close, maybe a week or 2 away to returning the receiving court. Kyron Moore is probably even closer, maybe a week away from returning to this receiving court. Justin McInnes will shake that one off. Again, he looks like he'll be okay.
The race for the FedEx Cup continues tomorrow as the best in golf compete for the ultimate prize at the BMW Championship. Catch 3rd round action, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on TSN and CTV2. Canadian Corey Connors 1 shot off the lead, tied with Spieth and Scheffler in 2nd, trying to track down Adam Scott. Should be a great day at that course tomorrow. 2nd and 4 for Fajardo. A quick throw, bit of a double clutch. But Hardy is able to hang on to it as time ticks down here in the 1st quarter. An eventful 1st quarter, no doubt about it.
Hardy felt like he got enough for the 1st down. They're marking it just short, only by inches, though.
Fajardo on the final play of the quarter steps up under center, pushing ahead. And that initial push was enough. Didn't need a lot. And the Riders' defense, as it has gotten healthier, has come up with some big plays so far in this ball game. Rourke has 133 yards passing, but 2 interceptions as well. Lions on the road, on top, 7-0. 2nd quarter action coming up on TSN. Well, welcome back to Regina, everyone. The Riders trailing the BC Lions 7-0 after the 1st quarter. 3 interceptions. You see that turnover category there. 3 interceptions in the 1st quarter, and Yeah, I like the offense, but this guy over here is like, defense can make plays too.
Well, hold on a second. And I know the panel loves the offense too. Even Davis gets caught up into that sometimes. But the defense is allowed to make plays too, and they have. It could be 17-7 BC right now. It's 7-0 Lions because of the play of the defenders in this game. A couple big interceptions that stop drives in plus territory. Important. And now you got to take advantage of them for Saskatchewan after the Derek Moncrief interception.
Fajardo has started 5 of 6, but just for 21 yards so far, and an interception on the deep shot that he took to Duke Williams. 1st and 10 here on the 48. They'll get it to Hickson, and he is popped as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Ouch.
Josh Woods is getting a role at linebacker here and just substituting in. He's sort of earning his way. He's got 8 special teams tackles on the season coming in, and when you play well on the teams, you get a chance to start on offense or defense. Woods closes in a hurry.
Woods got a couple of games last year with the Lions, and like you said, he's been doing some solid work on special teams so far. Loss of 1 second. 11. Pressure coming. Fajardo gets it away just in time, and that's intercepted. Come on, get out of here. 4 interceptions early in the second quarter, and this one is Purifoy. That's his 2nd interception of the season against his former club.
Yeah, that ball came out of the hand of Cody Fajardo a little off. It would look like he may have been hit as he was throwing, or maybe he rushed the throw and it just slipped out of his hands, because this was pressure off the edge and free man coming unblocked at Cody Fajardo. And I'm not sure if he felt pressure and rushed it and then just lost it, or that little push caused the accuracy issue because it fluttered short and picked off by Purifoy. Trying to throw to Duke Williams. He's in that 2 spot, little change at the line of scrimmage, and this time he throws it.
Both throws to Williams intercepted in this ball game. Hand off to Butler, and the Riders defense will have none of it. Marino there on the tackle.
You started that, bro. You started that. That's how you play.
Interception by Luchez Purifoy, and he hands the ball to his, I don't know, buddy?
I was going to say a doll.
And there's on the back of his gloves as well.
And if you've watched the movie, that's creeping me out a little bit. Let's get away from that.
Defense allowed to make plays too, though. Now, come on.
Here's Rourke. 2 interceptions himself in the first half. Almost another one. Holy smokes. That guy doesn't miss either. Nick Marshall had that one in his hands. Looked like maybe when he tried to bring it around.
That's what you do when you miss one in practice. In practice, you have to do push-ups when you drop a potential interception. And this one is Nick Marshall. He likes to get up and press, so he'll challenge receivers. This time it's Keon Hatcher on the dig route, cuts underneath it. You know, he knew he had Larry Dean over the top as well.
This kick from Flintoff will bounce out of bounds, and 4 interceptions already in this football game, and we almost had a 5th. Marshall, who's got 3 on the year, couldn't haul in number 4. Tonight is Purolator Tackle Hunger Night here in Regina. Since 2003, Purolator, along with the CFL and its member clubs, and Canadians like you, have helped Tackle Hunger program donate more than 18 million pounds of food to local food banks. The need is greater now than ever before. Go to PurolatorTackleHunger.ca to donate. Next up, Thursday in Winnipeg. There's a look at the rest of the schedule as you make your plans to help us with the Tackle Hunger program, and a tackle there on the quarterback of the Riders.
David Menard getting involved.
NASCAR.
Just straight 4-man pressure with linebackers tracking the backs out of the backfield.
Third sack of the year for Menard. A loss of 5 sets up 2nd and 15 for Cody Fajardo. Pressure coming again. Gets away. Nice spin move. Now he's going to take off. Fajardo looking for some room on the far side of the field. But he is wrapped up by Jordan Williams. Flag on the play. And is it on Williams? That look on his face made me think it is.
Well, he saw the flag and wondered immediately if it was on him.
Major foul, horse collar, BC number 21. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
The crowd didn't like that horse collar early, but here they are going to the sideline. Now, the horse collar should understand that it's not just grabbing the shoulder pads and pulling backwards from the shoulder pads. It's also grabbing the nameplate of the jersey and doing the same thing. So the player doesn't have to go backwards.
That's what I've always kind of viewed it as.
No,
so, yeah.
he doesn't. The player can be brought down forward like Cody Fajardo is here, and it can still be a horse collar.
Fajardo in trouble again. Flag on this play, and another one on the far side of the field as well. It might be unrelated here, so we've got a couple of things to sort out this time around.
Holding, Saskatchewan 59. Illegal contact, BC number 14. We'll replay the play.
Josiah St. John and Marcus Sales
Back up.
penalties on different aspects of that play.
Josiah St. John is the 6th offensive lineman. He's in there as a tight end.
We'll do it again, 1st and 10 from just outside the Rider 40. They'll hand it off, and a push ahead by Morrow for a pickup of about 4 yards on 1st down. And that's his 3rd carry of the football game.
Yeah, Jason Mott's got to figure out a way to take away some of these hits on his quarterback, because the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the worst team in the league, protecting Cody Fajardo. They've given up 32 sacks coming into this game. That's last in the entire Canadian Football League. That's one of the reasons for the changes at tackle. Both sides.
2nd and 7. 3 receivers to the right for Fajardo. That's where he's going to go. A high ball. And Hardy was turned around, couldn't make a play on it. And that'll bring up 3rd down for the home side here, trailing by 7 in the 2nd quarter.
The other reason for the changes at left and right tackle were penalties after the fact, especially by Ty Rogers. So that was the changes. See the BC Lions getting some pressure the last 2 series.
Vedvik's kick comes down just inside the 20. And Wynn lunges ahead. Short return. Brian Burnham has been excellent the last couple of games. We'll have some more on him with Sarah Orletsky when we return to Regina. 3rd game back in the lineup for Brian Burnham since returning from injury. For more on number 16, let's send it down to Sarah Orletsky.
Well, Dustin, usually Brian Burnham likes to let his play do the talking. Last week in Calgary, he let his play do his talking, but he was also vocal on the sidelines. You have to remember that they were having some trouble getting that offense going. He gathered that offense on the sidelines and told them that they needed to just really relax, play their game. They weren't playing at their best at that point in time for it. Just do what they need to do. Let's wake up. But then on the field, 165 yards and that touchdown, 3rd and 2. He told me 99 times out of 100, that ball to him with just over 7.5 minutes left wouldn't be going to him, but cover 0. There was no safety deep. His eyes lit up. He said he remembers a player was talking to him. He couldn't even respond. All he could think was, this ball's going to me. This ball's going to me. He ran as hard as he could. And he said it was the perfect call at the perfect time. Because if you remember that when you add that extra point, it pulled them within 2 late in that 4th quarter.
Huge catch. Had a few of them in that game.
I mean, and the safety comes out of the middle, and you're the adjuster from the slot back position. You're going straight to that hole. And now you're just wondering if your quarterback sees it like you just saw it. And Burnham was like, I
Second and 10. They tried to get Rourke moving to his right on that last play. Fell incomplete. Flags here. Lions are going to be backed
Procedure.
up.
BC number 61. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Figueroa playing in game number 99 of his career. Called on the procedure. What an excellent mustache on that fan. You see, that's some Top Gun stuff right there. It's come back. Maverick, the movie's brought back the mustache.
You mean the green one?
Not that one.
Oh,
not that one. Wrong movie. Second and 15 now for Rourke. The crowd trying to get into his head here. Rourke gets it away just in time. He got hammered down by Marino after he let it go. And maybe back to the line of scrimmage to Butler. But Rourke pops back up after taking the heavy hit.
Pete Robertson went right over to Marino immediately after that. It was close, you know, and you know that all eyes will be on him after a 4-game suspension. Rourke threw the ball to Butler there as a check down. No penalty flag.
Second consecutive 2-0 for the Lions. Lead 7-0. Flintoff has it blocked. It's deflected and will bounce into the hands of the Riders. And they will hang on to it. Amari Henderson, no yards on the play. Flintoff, who leads the league in punting average at 49 yards per, couldn't get that one off in time.
No yards. BC number 44. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. It'll be a first down.
Riders defense and special teams getting the job done so far.
Big block. The ball did cross the line of scrimmage, but trying to take a look at who got there. Was off the right edge. Right there. I think it might have been Frankie Hickson.
It looked like Frankie Hickson, yeah. Obviously a lot of speed for Hickson coming around the side if it was indeed him. Fajardo now in a great spot. The ball on the BC 33. Riders got to come away with something here. They'll get it out to Morrow, a little bit of room. And he lowers the shoulder, but is taken down heavily on the play by Delvin Breaux. 7-yard pickup.
Well, it was. We should give credit to Frankie Hickson here because, in fact, it was. He's right there and just gets inside. He's not the edge player, but he comes around that corner, straight path to the ball, and times that up nicely. Doesn't hit the kicker to draw a penalty flag. Field goal range for the Riders already.
They'll be thinking about a little bit more. 2nd and 3. Morrow pushing it ahead down to the 20. A first down to a round of applause from the crowd here at Mosaic. Four carries for Morrow for 32 yards so far. It's been the most successful part of their offense to this point in the ball game.
Well, Ben Haladiki, you just saw in linebacking core for BC, and Emmanuel Rugamba. Those are two relatively new linebackers on defense for the Lions, so why not test it with the run game?
From the BC 20, Fajardo keeps it himself this time and gets a few yards on first down before being taken down by Guacho.
And just to give you an indication, this time last year, Cody Fajardo had rushed for 338 yards. Led all quarterbacks at this point. He's 186 yards less than that this year because of that knee. And then last week had the 51. It was more like the Fajardo of old. So real important part of his game.
Operating at a 58% clip in the red zone. Empty backfield for Fajardo. Throws quickly. Has a man. That is complete. First catch of the game for Schaefer Baker. And it goes for a first down. looking to finish it now. 12 yards to Schaefer Baker.
Yeah, he puts his ball right on Schaefer Baker. There's great accuracy in this throw, kind of falling away from it, but you can see Jordan Williams cutting underneath that. So the throw had to be very accurate, and it was to Schaefer Baker, right between the 8 and the 9.
Now, can they finish it off? First and goal from the BC 6. Fajardo out to Morrow, gets to the 5 and no further. Maybe as far as the 4 before Delvin Breaux sends him back.
Mentioned the Riders will get Kyron Moore back in the lineup very shortly here, probably next week, maybe the latest the week after. That'll allow them to leave Jamal Morrow in the backfield and have Kyron Moore run that type of play on those fly screens. It's harder to read which guy's going to get the football.
Got a yard on that play. Second and goal now from the 5 for Fajardo. 3 receivers to his left, I should say. Fajardo waits, throws towards the end zone, and that is batted down by Purifoy. He would have had a clear path the other way.
He looked right down that sideline to it. That's the 110 yards I was about to run. I just forgot to take the parcel with me. Cut underneath this throw, and this is Purifoy would have been number 2 tonight. You know, you get down to the red zone like this, and defensive backs will play more aggressively and cut underneath, knowing that, I mean, it's a deep end zone. You can still run a double move. But quarterbacks like those timing throws down there, and almost.
Chip shot for Lother, and he hammers it through. Now 25 of 29 on the season, and the Riders have busted the goose egg. They are on the board, trailing 7-4. Purifoy's fingertips held the Riders to a field goal attempt.
Welcome back to Mosaic. One of the interesting games inside of the game is the matchup that Jason Shivers, defensive coordinator, is comfortable with. That's Moncrief one-on-one with Brian Burnham. In the first one, in that first series, Burnham got the best of him. Then Moncrief covered him down and tipped the ball to that interception, and then has one of his own. That's his 4th on the season. So, I mean, Moncrief, technically a linebacker, although he's a tremendous athlete. Jason Shivers says, I'll just have him cover one of the best slot backs in the game in Brian Burnham.
A defensive weapon.
2-1 Moncrief right now.
Nathan Rourke down the field for Rhymes. He's got it. There's a flag back by the line of scrimmage as Rhymes goes for another big one for BC. Would have been 25.
Looks like the options are going to Saskatchewan, which would mean it's against BC, but maybe not.
No, it's gonna.
Illegal block, hands to the face, Saskatchewan. Illegal contact, Saskatchewan. Both those penalties will be declined. The result of the play is a first down.
So I'll take the play. It was better than both penalties combined.
25 yards to Rhymes.
So the officials were just giving Craig Dickinson the explanation, not giving him the options of whether or not he'd want to take the penalty. Jeremy Clark's been close on a couple of pushes. Has one pass interference call tonight.
Working from the 45. They'll get it to Hatcher. A first down. Takes it inside the 35. His second catch of the ball game. And the BC Lions moving the ball well here late in the first half.
Working together over there with Dominic Rhymes. He's up on the line of scrimmage. A little inside slant ball put right on him. Immediately, almost impossible to cover.
12-yard pickup, working against Amari Henderson.
Best you can do there is make the tackle.
First and 10 from the Rider 33. 3 receivers, wide side right for Rourke. Looks over the middle, steps up. Almost a no-look pass to Rhymes. And he is able to hang on to it. Looked like he was going to come out the butler. He had me fooled.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you see great point guards in the NBA do this where they're looking off when they do those blind passes. He looks out there to Butler and then wham, right across the middle. DB's looking at those indicators, got thrown off there.
8-yard pickup. Second and 2. Creeping inside the Rider 25. Empty backfield for Rourke. This one is caught. Zipped it in there quickly, and Lucky Whitehead held on. There's a lot of juice on that pass.
You know, Nick Marshall has had a couple of chances, and this is another massive chance for number 3, Nick Marshall, who wants to get closer and get that 4th. There's the hands up we talked about earlier. It was tipped. If it's not tipped, it might go straight to Nick Marshall, who closed downhill on that. But there's the hands up we talked about earlier.
Third trip to the red zone for the Lions. One was an interception, the other a Pipkin touchdown. Rourke, quick fake. Now goes over the middle to Burnham, coming back to the ball. And it looked like he was able to hang on to it just outside of the 10, which will be a 2nd and short for the Lions.
Well, so far tonight, I think this is one of Nathan Rourke's games where he's really got to earn it. I mean, the coverage has been pretty good, and there's been some interceptions and also real tight coverages where he's fitting it into close windows and small windows, and that time Brian Burnham's going to be just short. But you're right, if he doesn't come back for the football there, it's probably tipped.
Pipkin handling the short yardage situations tonight for the first time for the BC Lions, and looks like
time count violation. BC number 17, 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Rick Campbell had run all the way down to the 15-yard line, I think, to try and call a timeout.
And the official had signaled timeout. We're going to go to break, and Rick Campbell hates that. We'll be back with the rest of the first half.
We have a timeout.
Why do birds suddenly appear when you're near? Just like us, they long to be close to
But he sure can't sing.
Well, I'm just wondering if they're injuring an animal in there or something.
Pipkin now. They gave BC the timeout as we get back to play. Now Pipkin's going to take it himself, looking on the far side of the field. Wide. He'll get it down inside the 5.
Yeah, so all that happened there just before the break was that Rick Campbell had tried to call a timeout and was actually awarded the timeout, but the other official didn't notice, went to the 3-minute warning, shouldn't have gone to the 3-minute warning, went back and gave the timeout before it to Rick Campbell so that he didn't get the procedure call, or the delay of game call, I should say. And so they were still in 3rd and short, and there's Pipkin around the edge to get the first down.
And Pipkin remains in the game here, 1st and goal from the Rider 2. Fakes the toss, straight ahead, extra push, and he's in. 2nd touchdown of the game for Antonio Pipkin. And the BC Lions take a 10-point lead.
And talk about pay the price. Antonio Pipkin's going to pay the price to get that 6 points on the board. Watch the hit he takes just before he goes in here. Little fake out there to Butler, and then bam, right in the hole from Sankey. He rolls off that one and crosses the strike.
It was Chung who finished him off, kind of pushed him in, because Sankey knocked him over, and then his offensive lineman knocked him in, and he is vulturing touchdowns in fantasy from Nathan Rourke tonight. I know many of you watching are just like, no! Nobody had Pipkin in their starting fantasy lineup, but he finishes off a 7-play, 70-yard drive, an answer from the BC Lions after the Riders had to settle for a field goal. Sean White knocks the extra point through. And a new wrinkle into this BC Lions offense with Pipkin getting involved.
Yeah, Sankey makes the hit, but he's a little late. See, watch how the fake pulls Sankey just past the hole this way, the fake to Butler. The fake to Butler is going to pull 53 just a little bit over there. Now he's got to put the brakes on and come back in there, and that gives just enough time for this hit. It's a little off. He rolls back inside Pipkin and can get across the stripe, because Sankey really wants to hit that hole inside out, and he probably holds him short. But that little bit of a fake pulls him outside, and he loses that angle.
And a nice job by Pipkin to secure that ball and be ready for the contact, right? He saw it coming, took a heavy blow, held on to it, and finished the job.
Yeah, you don't feel it after 6. When you cross the goal line, you don't feel those hits.
Alford, far side of the field, finds a little bit of room, turns on the Jets, and a nice return from Mario Alford. And decent field position with 2:24 on the clock for Cody Fajardo and the Riders.
Hey, if the Riders can put together an offensive drive, there's plenty of time. You know, the Canadian Football League, there's plenty of time inside of 3 minutes of the half in the game. And that play, mark that one. A big return to give Fajardo some real good field position.
There's Fajardo's numbers so far tonight. Not a lot of pushing the ball downfield by this offense just yet. Morrill will slide back in next to his quarterback, stands to his left. Pressure coming. Wow. They tried to dump it off to Morrill, setting up a screen, and it falls incomplete.
It was Matthew Betts off the edge that beat his guy clean. I want to say it was Andrew Lauderdale right here, and it was an inside move. That, look at this, step outside, inside move, and it was a clear path to Fajardo, just causing all kinds of problems. Got to anchor that inside leg at left tackle.
2nd and 10 for Fajardo. Morrill back in next to his quarterback again. Fajardo in trouble again. Stays alive for now. He's in trouble, and they take him down. Eventually circled back around into the waiting arms of Boom Guachum. 3rd sack of the season.
Feel Mosaic getting a little restless with their offense, I think, right now, and maybe the lack of protection. But it looked like he had, if he plants him, well, not really. Not really.
Looked like he just went to plant, and all of a sudden Guachum was there.
Yep.
His kick will bounce all the way down. Taken by Shane Wynn. Wynn trying to find some space. Works it back up just outside the 20 before he is taken down after a 62-yard kick from Vedvik. And now you've given the ball back to that man with 1 minute and 58 seconds to work. Ask the Calgary Stampeders how that worked out for them last week.
Oh, you can see he's looks like he's signaling to hurry up, take full advantage of it.
195 yards, 15 of 21 so far in this game for Rourke. No passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Can the Riders defense make a play late in the 2nd quarter? Rourke all the way down the field. Lucky Whitehead, he's got him in midfield, and he's gone to the 40, 30, 20, all the way home. 90 yards for Lucky Whitehead. Could not be caught. And the BC Lions blow this thing open late.
Just like that. Wow. I mean, this was a bust in the secondary for the Riders to have Lucky Whitehead this wide open behind everybody. Nick Marshall was over on that side, and Nathan Rourke just could not believe his eyes, I don't believe, to see Lucky Whitehead that wide open. You give him the ball in stride like that, no one is catching 7.
See you later. All night long, you give anybody that much of a head start, they're probably not going to be caught, but you get it to Lucky Whitehead, and there's no chance. His 3rd touchdown of the year. And Sean White knocks it through, and the BC Lions
You know, on top. I've talked about Nick Marshall. I like how he sometimes will take those chances and cut under plays. We've seen him almost get 2, but watch what he does here. Nick Marshall, this is the downside of Nick Marshall, because he'll do it. Stop it there, guys. He does it, and then look, still looking back at the quarterback thinking it's an out route, and he's going to jump it for a pick, and Lucky Whitehead is gone behind him. Now, Roland Milligan looked like he was in the outside deep third trying to help out on that, and he got influenced up as well. It looked like almost he and Nick Marshall together just jumped an under route, but that is just Nick Marshall, good and bad. We've seen him jump a couple of those intermediate to short routes and almost have interceptions twice now. And then he gets locked into the quarterback one time, and his receiver goes right by him.
They'll kick it away from Alford here. Heavy return back up the field by Hickson as he lowers the boom on Kevin Francis, who was waiting for it.
Yeah. Crib. Coach Mike.
Mason Fine into the game. Late in the second quarter. Is this just for a drive here and then you go back to Fajardo, or?
Well, we'll see, but you could feel that the crowd was getting a little restless watching the offense sputter.
We'll see if it's any different with Fine in at quarterback. Gets this one away and has a completion. And the crowd cheers, gets about half of what they need there as Cody Fajardo watches on.
Yeah, and sometimes that's exactly what it is. It's give your starter a chance to watch from the sideline for a series. Regroup at halftime, take a look at the tablet, the good and the bad, and then we'll see what happens in the second half.
What if Fine leads him on a touchdown drive here? Different story, right? They're going to bring some pressure. Fine escapes the pocket. Now he's out on the run. There's a flag on the play as he cuts it back inside the 40. That's where he'll slide. This is a hold. Play came out just as he kind of took off.
Illegal contact. BC number 14. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
So a big pickup for Mason Fine on the ground.
Illegal contact. The run was longer than the penalty, so Craig Dickinson takes the play. Nice move inside to cut right there on Luamba.
Fine looks down the field, and that one, nice play by Bro. Would have come down out of bounds on it. They were looking for Tevin Jones, and the deep balls that we've seen, that one and the one to Williams earlier, receivers haven't had much of a crack at it so far for the Riders.
No, I mean, there has been a couple of attempts by the Riders in this first half to push the ball down the field. I know the fans are hoping to see more of that, but you also don't want to be thrown into double coverage either.
2nd and 10 now for the 25-year-old Mason Fine coming into the game in place of Cody Fajardo. Lions showing pressure, and they're going to bring the house. He's going to look down the field. Duke Williams goes up and gets it. Staying on his feet, trying to get home, but DJ Lee held on for dear life.
Well, this is a nice read by Jason Fine, because it was pressure. Mason Fine, I should say, because it was pressure. Here's Duke Williams on the go route, but it was full pressure on Mason Fine, and he reads that pressure, knows he's got the one-on-one, and throws it to the back shoulder of his receiver. 37-yard gain.
All the way down to the BC4. Pressure coming again on Fine. Gets it away, and that is held on to by McInnes. His first CFL touchdown is a big one for the Riders as he hauls in a pass from Mason Fine, and Saskatchewan has life.
And we've just seen two majors inside of 3 minutes of the half. Don't fall asleep with a couple of minutes to go in the half of the game here, because this is, well, we'll say it, the best the offense has looked tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Big completion to Williams. And now it finished. They had to settle for a field goal earlier from right in tight. Fine finishes it off, and that touchdown a long time coming for the 6th overall pick in 2019, but he's got one. Bother. Extra point, a little tight, but he does knock it home, and we've got an 11-point ball game with 40 seconds remaining in the first half.
Love you, baby. Love you, mama.
Nice little head fake here on the first touchdown. Just this little head fake outside, and then bam, right across the middle. Justin McKinnis down. Watch his nice step to the right foot and the head inside. Sales didn't bite completely on it. Was in pretty good position, but he just lost that battle for the football right there. And the simultaneous catch goes to the offense.
Problem is Sales is 5'9", McKinnis is 6'5", so he had a little bit of an advantage size-wise there.
Well, you asked the question, what if Mason Fine drives for a touchdown here? What happens then?
I ask the big questions, Glenn. That's what I do. Do you have an answer?
Well, yeah, my answer is you go and you start Mason Fine in the second half.
Yeah. I don't know how you couldn't after he just moved the ball 5 plays, 61 yards. Had the carry for 14, and then the big completion to Williams for 37. Shane Wynn takes this inside his 10, back to the 20. Stays on his feet. And a flag right at the tail end of it as he did lunge outside the 30, 33 seconds on the play. Interesting first half for Rourke.
During the return, holding, BC number 91, 10-yard penalty, first down.
285 yards passing, 90 of it coming on the big play to Lucky Whitehead, but a couple of interceptions as well.
Well, that's what's been remarkable about this 24-year-old is just that he's not fazed when things don't go well. He's automatically thinking about the very next series, and you know, you cannot defensively fall asleep on him at all, not with any of those weapons and receivers or at any time in the game, whether he's got the lead or he's playing from behind. Just incredible maturity for a 24-year-old in what, start number 10, I believe it is? Start number 11.
I am by no means a D coordinator, and I will not play one on TV, but you're going to want to cover Lucky Whitehead with 33 seconds left in this half. They'll hand it off, and a short push ahead into the arms of James Butler, and the BC Lions might be happy with 21 points here.
Take the lead, you're on the road, hostile territory, got 11-point lead. And then we go to the band. The band's getting together. I'm not sure we can. I know a couple vocal coaches. Just, you know, just a thought. It's just a thought. I mean, but there's no Simon Cowells in these bands.
This will be one of those things that happens once. Got it away just in time. Butler moves it ahead just outside the 15. So interesting if you're the Riders. Like, you like getting that touchdown late. You got a couple of interceptions of Rourke. Overall, you think not bad, but you're still down 11 here heading into the half.
Yeah, I mean, you go in and regroup. There's lots of football to be played here in the second half, and I think if you're Saskatchewan, you've grabbed some momentum. Mason Fine got the ball in the end zone.
Something to build on for sure. The BC Lions coming into this game having won 4 in a row, looking to make it 5 in a row. They are also 5-0 when they lead at halftime. Riders needing a comeback at home. Let's send it back to Kate in the panel.
Alongside the best band in Canada, Davis Sanchez, Dave Naylor, Milt Stiegel. A very entertaining first half. Sometimes we struggle to find topics if the game's a little slow. This one we've been changing the entire time. But let's start with what happened at the end of that quarter, and that's, of course, the change in quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Milt. I mean, we saw Cody Fajardo struggle in that first half. He was only 8 of 13. He had 41 yards. He had the 2 INTs. And in comes Mason Fine and leads them all the way down the field for a touchdown. So it looks like the right decision so far.
Fine topics. I like that. Pun intended, huh?
I like that you caught it.
But do we have a quarterback controversy going on right now? You know, it's crazy because there's been so much talked about Cody Fajardo. You know, what is his future? Is he the man for this team? And you see what happens in this first half. And he threw a couple of interceptions, but these interceptions weren't necessarily his fault. You see Duke Williams right here. Duke Williams has to keep hustling for this ball. He has to find a way, worst case scenario, to knock it down.
That angle, that's a corner run. He's got to take it up high, right? You said it.
You got to go after that. You got to do that. And I understand it's on Cody Fajardo. It'll be on his record as interception, but in my opinion, that's Duke Williams' fault. But regardless, Cody Fajardo wasn't playing well. He had 47 yards passing in the first half. And Craig Dickinson, as a head coach, he understands that he has to get his offense moving. He doesn't have time to be waiting around for Cody Fajardo to play better. He understands he's trying to position his team for a spot in the West in the playoff run, so he had to make a move, and he did just that, and it worked out fine for him. Mason Fine came in, made a great throw, 50-50 ball to Duke Williams like he likes him. Nice route here, catch by McKinnis, and they're in the game right now. And he understands right now, this is my quarterback. I'm not trying to hurt any feelings. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but we need to win games, and he feels right now Mason Fine gives him that opportunity to win games.
Given the way the Saskatchewan offense was struggling coming into this game, going up against the #1 defense in the CFL, we don't talk about that because we always focus on the offense in this game, but that was a tough matchup.
We have to talk about Garrett Marino for a minute. So coming off the suspension, you'd think that you would learn, and there were a few plays in that first half where we all saw it, and then you slowed down the tape, and you're like, oh my goodness, you really didn't learn much.
Yeah, there are a trio of plays in that first half that certainly grab your attention. And look, Garrett Marino is coming off the longest suspension in the history of the Canadian Football League. There are a lot of people in this league that are upset that he's playing at all. Here we are, one of the first plays of the game. Watch him come in late on Lucky Whitehead. Lucky gets down, barely. But it looks like Garrett Marino is headhunting. Here on a play where it's whistled down, he comes through, plows the center, and then this is a play where Nathan Rourke gets the ball away. But watch the finish from Garrett Marino. There was a play David Menard made on Bo Levi Mitchell in last week's game that was flagged that was not near as physical or late as that. Marino, obviously the officials are not clamping on him, but he's given them reason to pay lots of attention to him in this second half.
Is he? I saw an interview. I saw it today. It was a couple days ago, I believe, with Marino. I didn't see, he wasn't showing contrite in what I saw. I saw the interview. I felt like that. But I wanted to let him see how he plays and how it plays out. Maybe that's just his personality. And then I saw this. To the point of what you're saying, the Lucky Whitehead one, first of all, he was targeting Lucky's head. It's clear. You see it on that play.
Leads with his head.
He goes down. Lucky's head is there. He's going right at Lucky, just ducks down right before that. Also, then the false start. The play's dead. The lineman did not move, and Marino still hit him. That's a dangerous play when an offensive lineman has his head down. And so to me, watching Garrett Marino's interview, the quote he actually said in the interview, he said, they asked if he apologized, and he said, I'm not going to get into specifics. And he said, you talked to Jeremiah. He said, I'm sorry for that he's hurt. I'm not going to get into specifics. And then he said, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You want to move on.
I want to move on. You want to move on. Jeremiah is, right now, I would be, if I'm the league, I'll be watching him. We wanted to get rid of this. We didn't want to keep on.
Yeah, we didn't. We really didn't.
But what he's done makes us keep talking about it.
And you think in his position he would be more cautious about it, but what happens is when you've been doing something for as long as he's been doing the way he plays, and when you get in the heat of battle, you're going to resort back to only what you know, and that's the way he knows how to play, and that's what he is. So,
it was just disappointing to see in the first half.
Absolutely. I want to say one thing about the Riders' defense, because this offense is outstanding, BC, and they're high-flying competitors. Moncrief at that nickel spot for the Riders. In the corner, Nick Marshall. Them boys heard enough of Nathan Rourke. They came out and played football today. Nathan still went for 300 in the first half, but the Riders are playing some pretty good defense. That'll tell you how good. I think they played well, and Nathan still went 300 yards, and they played well.
They got 2 interceptions. The problem was that they gave it right back.
That's right. Offensively.
David, didn't you have the under for Rourke?
You know what, Kate? You're right.
Buddies, come on, give me some. Give me some. We needed 10 more minutes for this halftime. We got more coming up after this.
I was being contributing.
Everything that kills me
We had an earlier game today, and I have your highlights. First quarter action, Caleb Evans calls a QB draw. He makes a great cut before taking it 21 yards to the house. Team leading 6th rushing TD for Evans this season. Puts the Red Blacks on the board early on. They were looking great. Then in the second, Evans sends a 50-yard laser up for Darvin Adams, who comes down with it. Adams playing his 100th CFL game. Red Blacks yet to win at home this season, up by 3 at the half. But third quarter, here come the Elks. Off play action, Taylor Cornelius going to find a wide-open Kenny Lawler, his 5th TD grab of the season. Edmonton takes the lead. To the 4th we go. Elks once again threatening. Cornelius going to spot Darrell Walker in the end zone. Walker's first touchdown of the season caps a 15-play drive. Cornelius finished the day 16 of 27, 208 yards, 2 TDs. Oh, it's not good in Ottawa right now as the Elks take it 30-12. Your finals. We had a double dip today, and we have a double dip tomorrow. It all kicks off with the Tiger Cats taking on the Montreal Alouettes, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And then week 11 in the CFL is going to wrap up with a battle between the Calgary Stampeders and the Toronto Argos. You can see that one at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Coming up after the break, we'll get you back to Regina. Our Sarah Orleski standing by with Marcus Sales. Listening to a young Dave Naylor. Dave, our first half stats.
I just play, I don't sing. All right. First half stats, Nathan Rourke almost at 300 yards and a half with 285 compared to 88 for Saskatchewan. Of course, more than half of those came from Mason Fine on that final drive. 2-2 in turnovers. Both times, Sask gave it right back after they took it away.
As promised, our Sarah Orleski with Marcus Sales.
Marcus, the Riders were able to get that touchdown late, but when you look at the offense overall, when Cody Fajardo was in, this defense was able to contain him. How?
Honestly, it's just credit to our coaches and credit to like what we've been doing in practice. And, you know, we just can't let them score right before halftime. That's just something on us. But coming out in the halftime, you know, they're about to get the ball, and we just got to keep this ball over and keep the train rolling, and we'll be all right.
What is it that has stood out to you overall most about the play of this Lions group through the 2 quarters?
Honestly, like, we're both playing great football. You know, they're getting some plays. We're getting some plays. We, you know, gave up some penalties too, and we just can't have that on our team moving forward. So this second half is going to be important for us to just play clean football, and we just got to come out here and ball. That's it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Take care.
Incredibly entertaining first half. The Lions currently up 21-10. We'll get you back to Mosaic for second half action right after this.
Welcome back to Regina, everyone, where the Riders trail 21-10 at the start of the third quarter. Head coach Craig Dickinson is with Sarah Orleski.
Craig, which quarterback will you go in this third quarter?
We're going to go Mason. Yeah, Mason looked fine. Cody, you know, he did the best he can, but he ain't quite right, so we're going to go with Mason the rest of the game.
So when you're looking, Cody, you said he's not quite right. Is this injury related, or was this more performance?
I think a little bit of both. I don't think he trusts his knee right now, and we're going to go with Mason, and hopefully he gives us a spark.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Quarterback change official. Fine came in and led a touchdown drive. Went 3 of 4 for 47 yards and a touchdown after Cody Fajardo was 8 of 13 for 41 and 2 interceptions. Huge opportunity here for Mason Fine.
It really is, and you know, I can tell just listening to the crowd that maybe they heard the interview because they heard that Mason's going to start the second half, play the rest of the game, and that has given the fans a spark.
As we know, everybody loves the backup quarterback. Here's Alford picking his way through. A nice return. Takes it almost all the way up to the 50. And here's a look at some of the work from Mason Fine at the end of the first half.
Yeah, came in for that last drive of the first half for the Riders, and he went to work. You know, nice completion over the middle to get things started, and then he ran as well on a play. This was the deep ball to Duke, the back shoulder. TJ Lee prevented the touchdown there, but Justin McInnes with his first CFL touchdown on the crossing route. So a successful drive, and he'll start the second half.
Riders looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak at home. Fine at the helm. Big hit on a pass that he gunned in there to Hardy, but Rugamba was there to blow it up at the point of contact.
Well, the timing there, just outstanding. Again, Emmanuel Rugamba getting a chance to play that linebacker, that tweener spot for Luchez Purefoy, who has an interception tonight but is playing free safety. Big hit.
2nd and 10 now for the Riders, who start this half on their own 49-yard line. 6 coming. Fine escapes the pressure, rolling out to his left. Now he's just going to have to take off. Nobody there. Gets a short gain on the play, but running for his life here early in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I'm sure that the Lions were also looking to see what Craig Dickinson would decide as far as his quarterback goes, and then they'll determine what they're going to do defensively based on who's in there. And right now with Mason Fine in there, expect to see more pressure. That was just 6-man, but expect to see lots of pressure to see if he can handle it.
Some whistles before they can get this kick away. Ball was a little bit too far ahead of the 3rd down marker, so it'll back him up a couple of yards. Hedvig will let it fly. Shane Wynn waiting for it. Went to school at Indiana. It's the only Hoosier ever to have a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a kick return touchdown, and a punt return touchdown. High kick from Vedvik. Wynn takes it at his own 10. 48-yard kick. Breaks 1 tackle. Now looks to turn it back upfield. Now we'll get something out of what looked like was going to be nothing. And Nathan Rourke's first half up and down, but almost 300 yards.
Yeah, again, a lot like the game against Calgary last week, where he was up and down, a couple of interceptions, but he did have a ton of yards. And if you fall asleep on him, that was drive number 1. Brian Burnham getting down the field. Again, distributing the ball to all of his weapons. Late in that first half, Lucky Whitehead in behind Nick Marshall.
90-yarder for Whitehead puts Rourke at 285 on the night so far as he gets the first crack at it in the second half. 16 of 22. Thought about going down the field. Now he's got a ton of room, and he will lunge ahead for a first down to start the half, or darn close to one.
That's one of his superpowers, is his quickness and his ability to process and make a quick decision. Decision making, one of the most important aspects of quarterback play. You got to make good decisions. He gets outside. Watch how quick. Little fake. Thought he just went to turn the shoulders. If it's there, it's not. I'm running. Split-second decision and a first down.
2 carries on the night for 30 yards. 1st and 10 from his own 28. As time takes what the defense gives him, drops it off to his running back, James Butler, for a short pickup on first down.
That's a tough one because Larry Dean was out there on Butler. You know, when you got the number 2 tackler in the league and Larry Dean, 54 defensive tackles coming in, and then you got, you know, Sankey playing beside him.
He's okay too.
Yeah. That play's a tough one to beat those 2 guys.
Can Dean or Sankey or Moncrief make a play here? 2nd and 7 is what the Riders defense currently faces. They're going to bring some pressure on Rourke. He's in trouble. Escapes, and now he's got some room to run. Rourke will take it out towards the 50, stays on his feet, cuts it back inside the 50, stumbles ahead, and down at the 45, and the remarkable Rourke strikes again.
Kid Canada putting on display all of his weapons, all of the things that make him great, and he is great. I mean, this is how he gets out of this. Again, full pressure. The pocket is collapsed, and Garrett Marino can't hang on. A 33-yard gain. Nice cutback there on Mike Edom. Wow.
63 rush yards for Rourke. Butler now wrapped up and held on to by Anthony Lanier.
You know,
that'll be a loss.
You know, we've been asked going into every game that we've done of the Lions and Nathan Rourke and what he's been accomplishing. I mean, here's the running totals for quarterbacks on the year, and he's leading the way there as well. And he's the first quarterback that I've talked about when previewing a game and saying if the Riders want to stay in this game and win, they're going to have to keep Nathan Rourke on their sideline, on the BC Lions sideline. That's long offensive drive. The only other quarterback I've said that about was Doug Flutie.
That's a long time ago. Rourke, this time he goes over the middle, and that falls into Rhymes, who gets up and takes off down to the 15, and eventually will get taken down just shy of the 10 as he got up and kept the play alive.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he was touched down by contact here. He's right here, and that trips receiving alignment to the wide field to Rourke's left. And there's going to be a little change motion coming out of the line of scrimmage, and fits it in there one more time.
Rhymes now at 127 yards on the night.
Precision.
Rourke towards the corner. Burnham, did he hang on? Oh my goodness, spectacular! Burnham with one hand to make the play, hauls it in.
Oh man, this is vintage Brian Burnham. This is the guy that owns the highlight reel. I mean, I think he only used one. Derek Moncrief again in the matchup. Now it's 2-2, by the way, in that matchup. The game inside the game. Watch Burnham go to work. Unreal. Unreal.
Absolutely ridiculous for the man who has a catch in every single game he has ever played in. This one, just 11 yards, but of the remarkable variety.
Well, and Derek Moncrief can't cover him any better. I mean, sometimes that's how it works out. You in perfect position. 2-2 in that matchup.
Burnham has a touchdown in all 3 games since the return. A 6-play, 93-yard drive finished off by Burnham with a little bit of magic at the back of the end zone.
Nothing really fancy on the route from Brian Burnham. Is going to be picked up from depth from Derek Moncrief coming over to take him. You'll see that happen immediately here. Just straight go route. But he makes the extraordinary look routine.
Just an insane catch from Brian Burnham. Now has 4 on the season. Coming off one of the best games of his career last week. Flintoff will let this fly. Alford takes it just inside the 15. Has some room on the far side of the field. Sales is going to try to cut him off. Alford makes that corner. Finally forced out of bounds by Purifoy before he could do some serious damage. Plaza of Honor night here in Regina. Ken Miller being honored along with Mike McCullough. And Weston Dressler here tonight as well. And all 3 of them are standing by with our Sarah Orleski.
Thanks so much, Dustin. The fans loving to see these 3 down here for it. And I'm going to just quickly, Weston, when you think you had 8 seasons here and you think about the success that you had, what stands out to you most though is your time with the Riders?
Just the friendships, the friends I made in that locker room, the teammates, the guys that you still talk to this day. Friends I'll have for life, and playing in front of these fans obviously was just a tremendous experience, so a lot of fun.
Mike, for you live here full time with your family. What's the reaction of your kids over the fact that you're now in the Plaza of Honor?
At first they were pretty mad because we had to come back from our cottage early by about a week or 2, so they're still pretty mad at me, but they're kind of thinking this whole scene's pretty cool. So Dad's cool for about 48 hours, and I go back to being the uncool dad.
Hey, you gotta love it, and congratulations. And Ken, for you to be here, I know you were able to address the team for it. You had 5 points for your 5 years here, but overall, what was your theme when you addressed the Riders?
You know, my theme primarily was to play for the other guy. What can you do for the guy in the locker next to you? That's really what it boils down to, being a good teammate.
Well, thank you very much, the three of you, for the time. Congratulations very much on the honor. It's so nice to see the three of you, and we'll send it back upstairs.
Very special night for those three gentlemen.
Yeah, congratulations to all three. Great class inducted into the Plaza of Honor here in Saskatchewan. I mean, Mike McCullough, one of the very first Jake Goddard Award winner.
You know, for his kids, don't think about the time you didn't get to stay at the cottage. Think about the time you had there, right? Well, that's a positive.
You know, and I watch Weston Dressler, and just watching his career and how the effort that he gave every single play and the inspiration he must have been for so many kids that are undersized playing football.
Win on the return, and it's a short one, not really going to go anywhere. Plaza of Honor inducting three more on Friday Night Football here in Regina. One more look back at the three inductees to the 2022 Plaza of Honor class.
Tremendous career. Weston Dressler, starter, 50 touchdowns. Of course, the 2013 Grey Cup was part of that when they won it at home. Mike McCullough represents all those special team guys. 113 special teams tackles, unbelievable. Ken Miller, offensive coordinator in 07 when Ken Dawson was the head coach. They won the championship in Toronto against Winnipeg.
Rourke starts deep in his own territory, and we'll quickly go to Lucky Whitehead, who's just shy of a first down. That's his 5th catch of the game. That'll push him over 115 yards.
Yeah, if you're a receiver with the BC Lions right now, you are enjoying life, aren't you? I mean, you're having some fun knowing that if I run my route, if I'm where I'm supposed to be, the Kid Canada will get me the ball.
Rhymes has obviously done the damage with the touchdowns, but everybody's involved in the offense. There's Pipkin, as he'll slide in and push ahead, needed a yard. I mean, he has moved the ball around extremely well, his work this season.
Yeah, and it's you know, impressive, and that's why he's accumulating these kind of numbers, record-setting, record paces. When you look at his 300-yard passing games, already on his way to 400 tonight, just in the third quarter here, and you know the 500-yard mark is ready to fall at any time with this guy.
Certainly within his reach, and on that type of pace again tonight. Whitehead comes back, goes down to get it.
They must have blew him dead, because if he caught it, he's allowed to get up and run.
That was weird. I thought he was going to get up and take off.
But they must have ruled that it was incomplete. Either that or a quick whistle stopped the play.
Set up 2nd and 10 after an apparent bounce off the turf.
Yeah, it had to be incomplete for them to blow it dead here, because he wasn't touched. Yeah, see the pellets fly.
So 2nd and 10 for Rourke. Gets us away just in time. Rhymes reached out for it, got a hand on it, but it does fall incomplete. Jeremy Clark there in coverage for the Riders.
Important for the defense to keep it within striking range. I mean, lots can happen, and that's not to give up on it. Jeremy Clark's had an up and down game tonight, but a big play there, and the timing excellent.
Flintoff set to kick it away. Just in time. Alford takes it at the 30 with a little bit of room. Near side, and forced out of bounds by Francis Woods, rather, before he could get to the 40. That song still gets you going, doesn't it? Fires me up. Here's Friday Night Football trivia. Who has the single game record for receiving yards in Friday Night Football history?
Well, based on how we've been doing this all year, it's a Rider or a Lion.
I would think.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be, I guess, but
they're re-kicking this after a penalty to Purifoy. Another big boot from Flintoff. My goodness, he can kick it. 57 yards. Alford on the far side. We'll take it back onto the Lions side of the field.
Weston Dressler just went into the Plaza of Honor. Weston Dressler played on a bunch of Friday nights.
During the return, holding Saskatchewan number 58. 10-yard penalty. First down.
BC Lions G-Roy Simon was also a Rider in 13. I mean,
Yeah, Dressler would all be too much of a coincidence, I think. I mean, that's essentially cheating. That's
you're basically saying we'd be planning too much if that was...
That's making it way too easy. We got to dig a little bit deeper than that, I think. But you can scramble to Google if you want to cheat, or you can just try to come up with the answer yourself, and we'll give it to you.
Google it.
No. No. Even if you're wrong, at least have the excitement of coming up with a guess. Fine. Hands it off, and that's not going anywhere. It was Hickson in the game. And how about that from Rugamba, who started a little bit slow in his first start last week, but has settled in very nicely for this defense.
Yeah, he's coming from depth, and when he comes from depth, the timing is ideal. I mean, that's timing up your blitz from the linebacking core to perfection. I don't like using that word. In fact, I think it's kind of a unicorn word, but
perfection?
Yeah.
You're taking it back?
Almost no such thing.
Are you going to take it back?
Yeah, I'm going to take it back.
Okay.
I'm going to take it back.
Cross off.
Good timing, though. Great timing.
It was well played. Here's Fine. He's got some time. Gets it away just as he's hammered by Schaefer Baker. But Schaefer Baker nowhere to go. Hounds on the ball are the BC Lions defense.
Maybe it was a Canadian receiver. Seeing Schaefer Baker make that catch. Remember, they had the Canadian Air Force.
They did. That's a really good point. If you're going to go through that, there's 4 guys there. That could be pretty obvious. Now, I mean, a random
one
guess
game, right?
in this situation would give you a 25% crack at it. I'd lean that way. Friday Night Football trivia answer coming up.
As long as Dave Naylor and the panel aren't working on that song right now, we'll stick with the recorded version, if that's okay.
Yeah, you know, a lot of us can play an instrument. I mean, just not. I play a trombone horribly.
Do you really?
Don't tell anybody.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, I don't. Not anymore, obviously.
Should have known that on rookie night for you.
Big kick, 61 yards, win with a little bit of speed. Turns it back upfield, just outside the 25-yard line for the BC Lions. And that's where they will have the ball when we return. They lead by 18 on Friday Night Football. Well, BC is having a great season offensively. A lot of it to do with Dominique Grimes. And for more on that, let's send it down to Sarah Orleski.
Absolutely. A key part of this offense for the BC Lions so far this season, Dustin. And you look at particularly when it comes to receiving touchdowns. Right now, he is on pace to hit the 20 touchdown mark. Now, only 3 players have ever had 20 receiving touchdowns in a season. The last being a name that we might recognize, the one and only Milt Stiegel. But one of the things that impresses the teammates most, whether it be Nathan Rourke or Brian Burnham, talking about the unselfishness of a player like Grimes. Never asks for the ball, but certainly makes an impact whenever he has it. In his first 4 years in the league, 7 touchdowns. Already he has 9 so far this season. Last year, largely in a blocking role. This year, asking him to make plays to go up for those jump balls. He's obviously been doing it and having success to this point.
Very versatile in this offense. They'll get it out to Lucky Whitehead, who stumbles, bounces back up, but is taken right back down again. Grimes coming into the season, I think, had 7 touchdowns in his career. He's tacked on 9 more this year.
5 touchdowns in his last 4 games for the BC Lions, and they get down into that red zone. They're at a 76% clip, which is outstanding. Red zone offense, and he's been the #1 target inside that 20-yard line.
Second in the league in yards per game at 85.4 is Dominique Grimes. Second and 8 for Rourke here. Near side, Whitehead, he's got him, but it falls incomplete. Looked like he was leaning out of bounds, trying to keep his feet in, and hands couldn't hang on to that ball. Looked like he was consoled there by Nick Marshall.
Yeah, you know what he was doing? He knew he was 2 yards short, so he was trying to catch it and turn at the exact same time. He's about 2 yards short, so he's catching and turning to get that first down, and just, again, when you do that, you take your eyes off it. Just as it hits your hands, even the best will drop it.
Back to work for Flintoff. Alford waiting. Had to back it up after a 63-yard kick. And he is taken down heavily there by Hakeem Johnson. You've been waiting for the answer to Friday Night Football. Did you get it correct? There he is.
I see Canadian Air Force.
You had a chance.
Andy Fantus.
What a game.
How about that number? 10 catches, 255 yards, and a touchdown.
Against the Calgary Stampeders. Few weapons on that team.
Rob Bagg, Claremont, Andy Fantus, Getzlaff.
Far side. That's gotten in there. Duke Williams comes back, goes and gets it. And they'll get about half of what they need on first down.
Got a good Canadian out here right now, too, in Schaefer Baker, and I really believe that he needs to see the football a little bit more. I mean,
2 catches tonight.
Two catches tonight. His targets have gone down over the last couple of games. The first 7 games, his targets were at about 7 per game, and in the last 2, it's been cut in half, basically to 4. So I think he's a playmaker. Get the ball in his hands, you get a chance.
Especially with some of the other weapons they are missing right now. Fine's going to look down the field, and a big completion on the far side to Justin McInnes. McInnes will take it down to the 30. It's going to be a race inside the 20, and he's hauled down by Purifoy. But the biggest play of the game for the Riders comes from Justin McInnes, who had his first career touchdown earlier tonight.
You know, when you get that first touchdown, it feels like a weight off your shoulder as a receiver, and now you play with great confidence. You run a great route on the out. The timing is there. Nice throw from Mason Fine, and then turns the corner. Thought he was going to be tackled immediately. Didn't get tackled. Marcus Sales went down and then picked up some yak yards after the fact.
57 yards for McInnes. 1 for 2 in the red zone tonight are the Riders. Fine, nice angle on that throw, and he'll get it to Tevin Jones for a first down all the way down to the 5.
Well, this time it's McInnes on the, he's basically the decoy on this route. He's going to run the corner, and then right there, it's going to be Jones on the curl. So get the deep route to the corner, try and pull coverage just for a split second, and it did to Jordan Williams. Gave Tevin Jones that split second he needed.
Final play of the third quarter. Riders down by 18. First and goal from the 5. They'll hand it off and nowhere to go for Jamal Morrow, stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And the Riders knocking on the door, but trailing 28-10 on Friday Night Football at Mosaic Stadium in Regina. It's a beautiful, beautiful night. Don't go anywhere. Fourth quarter coming up here on TSN. Welcome back to Friday Night Football in Regina. It's the Riders down 28-10 to the high-flying BC Lions, and maybe some decisions to make for the Riders here as we work our way into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I'm going to call this the Nathan Rourke effect, because at 346 yards passing and what he's capable of, what he's shown us throughout this season, does that change Craig Dickinson? I think in this situation now, they're second and goal on the 5-yard line. If they don't get it here and score the major, conventional wisdom would say take the field goal, you climb back into the game with a whole quarter to play, but you're playing against Nathan Rourke. Does that change? I think Craig Dickinson probably plays 3-down football, especially on the 5-yard line now.
Yeah, what's 3 points do for you? Be down 28-13. Lots of time to go still, but is your defense going to be able to hold Rourke and the Lions to just the 28 points on the board right now? highly unlikely, but they have come up with some turnovers tonight. There's no doubt about that. 2nd and goal from the 5 for Mason Fine. Has 1 passing touchdown already in this game. Morrow was stuffed on 1st down. Fine now throwing towards the end zone. Williams goes up double coverage and it falls incomplete.
Well, now we'll find out. That's double or triple coverage there, and Duke Williams still down.
He went down earlier in the game, but it has returned.
Brought Hardy in for more protection for Mason Fine, and no, it was just double, but Rwamba gets back there to help out in Sales, and I think friendly fire possibly for Sales, because he came down kind of favoring his arm too.
Duke is up and back on the sideline. There's a look at it. A little bit of a limp. Try to walk it off.
You know, and again, I mean, you're down this far.
Your answer is going to be questioned here. Mason Fine's on the field.
Yeah, and people will say, well, you know, you gotta get the field goal this close, but I still think you have a whole quarter to play. You chip away with points, plus that's a positive for your team. You've got some momentum because you drove the ball and you got 3 points out of it. But against Nathan Rourke and his 500-yard pace, I think it changes your strategy.
Huge moment for that man. 25-year-old Mason Fine trying to keep his Riders in this game at home. From the 5. Flushed out of the pocket, taken down, fumbled, and the ball pops out. And the BC Lions defense comes up with a huge play on 3rd down.
Boom, watch him around the edge, and he's going to make himself skinny. And you're saying, well, wait, 6'5", 250. There's no way you can make yourself skinny at 6'5", 250. But watch how he turns sideways here. Chops down with the right hand, turns sideways to make that surface area for a block almost impossible. And he comes around the corner on Josiah St. John and catches Fine from behind. He had an open receiver, too, in Justin McInnes. He saw him and just couldn't load it up.
Well, we saw Cody Fajardo under a lot of pressure in the 1st half, and Fine gets a dose of it there from the BC Lions. Rourke starts on his own 11. Near side, has a completion. It's Katoy, and he's going to push it all the way outside the 35. His first catch of this ball game is a big one and gives the Lions breathing room.
This is why I'll call it the Nathan Rourke effect, because I think the decision by Craig Dickinson was the right one, to go for it on 3rd down, not take the field goal there. Go ahead and try and punch it in for the major, because Rourke will get you out of that hole in about 3 seconds.
375 yards for Rourke, closing in on his 3rd consecutive 400-yard passing game. This time, they'll toss it out to Butler. And Sankey read that well, takes him down with a little help from his friends. And that'll set up a 2nd and long for the visitors. Ten for 16 on 2nd down this evening are the BC Lions. Trying to keep this offense on the field as we work our way through the early stages of quarter number 4. And Rourke this time will be taken down. Welcome back to the lineup. Pete Robertson comes around the edge and gets home.
Kind of a combination between the two of them, Pete Robertson and AC Leonard. And for Leonard, it's going to be a stunt like this. And Robertson, you're right, he comes right around the corner. And those two premier rush ends, you knew they'd make an impact. And there's the stunt at the bottom, and it's a race to get to Rourke.
And Rourke is hobbling off the field. And here's a huge wrench thrown into the storyline of this game. No weight on the right ankle of Nathan Rourke. And we'll get hopefully another look at it as Rourke in pain on the sidelines. And a phenomenal season from Nathan Rourke has a hiccup in it. Flintoff will kick it away. Alford waiting, takes it at the 15 after a 60-yard kick. Near side, looking for some blocks, opening up some space, and they'll get pushed out of bounds just outside the 35 as they look at the ankle of Nathan Rourke. Robertson, Leonard getting there, and there you see the ankle. Rourke watches on. Welcome back to Regina, everyone, where the shoe is off on the right foot of Nathan Rourke, and they're continuing to see what exactly happened to him. He was in quite a bit of pain when he came off. Settled down now as they evaluate him. Fine, will dump it off, and a bunch of space here for Jamal Morrow. Cuts it back at midfield, and eventually has taken down one of the bigger plays of the game for the Riders offense. 18 yards to one of their best playmakers, Jamal Morrow.
Yeah, they had some success early in the first quarter with the run game, getting Morrow involved, and this is nice blocking up front. A little swing pass, really an extended run to swing it out like that, get him out in a little more space.
Now a deep shot, far side of the field. Incomplete, was looking for Tevin Jones, and a major, but it falls incomplete out of the hands of Mason Fine.
Boy, that throw was about as good as it could be. And Tevin Jones got to it. He put it into fifth gear, and he got to it. He was in behind coverage, in behind Delvin Breaux, but just off his fingertips.
So 2nd and 10. Fine is 9 of 13 for 148 yards and a touchdown since coming in late in the second quarter. Goes to McInnes. McInnes turns, tries to cut it up, lunges ahead. Where he placed that ball is darn close to a first down. A great second effort from McInnes.
I'm taking a look at Nathan Rourke's ankle right now. I know there's a lot of BC fans wondering, and they're pointing to where it's bothering him. It looked like a clean sack. It was a clean hit. Just kind of the way he twisted to the ground that caused the issue. But he didn't put any weight on it going off, so. Michael O'Connor would be next up. They're cutting the tape off, as a matter of fact, so that means he is done for tonight.
Won't be back. First half of a home and home. No play again next weekend. Fine. In trouble. Gets away just in time. And will throw it at the feet of Tevin Jones to avoid the sack. Here's another look at what caused Rourke to be in this pain on the sideline.
Well, he's broken so many of these tackles, and he's Leonard hit him, and Pete Robertson, again, clean tackle, just pulling him to the ground, but it's the way that right foot twisted underneath him. Don't want to speculate on exactly what it might be, but you saw him looking at the ankle, and looks like his night is done.
2nd and 10 for Fine. Needs a first down here. Throws one in, and he's got a first down. And a coming out party tonight.
Yeah,
for Justin McInnes.
No
I think
question.
we can safely say that, over 80 yards with a touchdown, and has caught every ball thrown his way.
Yeah, that touchdown's given him great confidence, and he knew where the marker was. He knew where he had to get to. He catches it and backs right up into that first down area. It's good awareness where he was on the field.
Working from the BC 27. Has a short completion to Hardy, and really all he could do on the play was pick up a short gain and set up 2nd and long with just under 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Mason Fine has faced 2nd and long a ton. I mean, that getting limited playing time coming in. He was just 8 completions on the season coming into this game in the end of the first half. And he's faced a lot of second and long.
8th play of this drive for the Riders. Fine looks to the right. Goes over the middle and has a completion. That'll set up 3rd and a couple as he goes back to 83, Jake Hardy.
You know, you get a young quarterback and get him in 2nd and medium and 2nd and manageable is so important. Jason Maas had success with the run game. He's had success with the run game all year long. In fact, when they run, they win. When they run the ball well, they have balance. I understand what the scoreboard says, but take a look at that, Fawn. When they win games, they're rushing the ball effectively. When they're not, they don't win. And that first down production would really help Mason Fine, I should say.
Only 9 carries for their running backs so far in this game tonight. Huge 3rd down here. Lions got to stop last time around. They'll hand it off to Morrow, pushing ahead. Oh, this is going to be tight. Lions defense may have done it again.
I think Jordan Williams got there to make this close where they're going to have to measure.
They will take a closer look at it. Country and the party in Pill Country has been silenced a little bit so far tonight by this BC Lions defense. Did they make the play again? Yes. The visitors shut the door on 3rd down. Riders come up empty on 3rd down again. Great look at it here. Morrow stopped short by Jordan Williams. Welcome back to Mosaic Stadium in Regina, where the Riders have challenged the spot of the ball on this play.
I'll give you all the looks, and this one may help more than any. But Jordan Williams fell the right way, didn't he? Pulled him back. You get forward progress, but you just don't know how. There's enough evidence here to turn.
Either way, it's an extremely close call. Let's get the announcement.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. 1st down BC, Saskatchewan is charged the timeout.
At this point in the game, if you're the Riders, you might as well do it when it's that close.
Yeah, you had to. But, you know, just those type of 3rd down, you can challenge on 3rd down on the spot.
If you're just joining us, you're wondering why is Michael O'Connor in this game, and more on that coming up shortly. An update on Rourke from Sarah Orleski in moments. A completion to Lucky Whitehead, and Whitehead will be tracked down on the far side of the field. Let's send it down to Sarah Orleski.
Well, Dustin, as expected, Nathan Rourke is done for the evening. He hasn't left the bench since he came off, unable to put weight on that right foot. Most of the time, though, the emphasis when they were examining him was on the middle and the top of that right foot, and that is where the ice bag is currently taped up to. That is the only information that we have been provided up to this point by the BC Lions.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Excellent job down there. Investigative reporting. Interesting that it's down on the foot, not a high ankle.
Foot and ankle,
like that,
foot and ankle.
Ice on it immediately. Connor dumps it off. And his running back will come up just shy. It was close, but just shy of a 1st down. So an opportunity here for O'Connor to seal away a victory for the BC Lions. He's got a few reps along the way.
I think they're going to change their mind and kick this away.
It would be a little silly to go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
3rd down there. But O'Connor overall, he's got 6 minutes to lock up a victory for the Lions. Alford waits. Obviously, he's a player with a special ability. Can change this game in a heartbeat. Takes it at the 25 after a 58-yard kick. And great job by the Lions so far tonight. There's really been nowhere to go for number 2 in green. As the Riders trailing by 18 will have the ball when we return Friday Night Football.
I'm taking cause and mayhem.
The Duke of Love. Yeah, yeah. I like my horses to have a risque name.
I like the way you said it.
Mason Fine with 5.5 to go, down by 18. In coverage, that ball is knocked away by Hladek. Looking for Hickson, trying to get Hickson involved in the offense once again.
Craig Dickinson now, I mean, you go into a week where you're preparing for the same opponent. You know, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind, just knowing Coach Dickinson and listening to him throughout the year here in Saskatchewan. He'll go back to Cody.
Completion on the far side to McInnes, tosses off one defender, lunges ahead out to midfield. There's a flag back at the 15. Whether this comes back or not, a great night for McInnes continues.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer. BC number 90, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Take a look. He goes up the field and then runs a stunt, goes right down Main Street, 3 or 4 strides, and then a hit well after the ball is gone.
23 more yards for McInnes puts him up to 111. His first 100-yard game, so a night of firsts for McInnes. Oh, and a big hit there as the completion is made, and Manny Rugamba continues to make an impact on a BC Lions defense where I think it would be hard to make an impact with all the talent around you.
Yeah, especially that back end and secondary and the veterans and the linebacking core with Jordan Williams in there. Bo Lacombo is the injury list right now.
Rugamba playing in the spot of Purifoy, moved back to safety. Fine, near side, and that one will fall incomplete on 2nd and 6. Was looking for McInnes again.
But it's 3-down football for Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, you know, our Edmonton game, there were 17 points scored in 45 seconds.
You guys had a wild one there.
Yeah, 17 points in 45 seconds before the half.
4 very, very tight football games last week. All 4 of them decided in the final 3 minutes.
Starts with a conversion here on 3rd down.
Low snap, bobbles it, goes down, gets back up, and it's finished off by the BC Lions. It's Josh Woods' first career CFL sack on the play.
Yeah, that's, you know, 3rd down and 6. Everybody's got to be wired, ready to go, and a bad snap that goes wide from Logan Bandy, and that just ends the chance of Mason Fine getting that done.
So you did say you don't think there's any chance Dickinson doesn't go back to Cody Fajardo?
No, I just
maybe a shorter leash, because Fine's done a decent job.
He's done a decent job, but I think you go back to your starter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's times when your number 1 pitcher doesn't have his stuff. You go back to him right afterwards.
You also need to do a better job protecting both of these guys.
Yes, exactly. Now that injury angle for Craig Dickinson may factor into this. Is if he's not confident in planning and running and all those things, then that may factor into the decision.
And if you're just joining us, that is what Dickinson said at halftime, that he thought Cody just looked a little bit off, maybe not a lot of confidence in his own knee.
But quarterback talk in Saskatchewan. There will also be quarterback talk, obviously, in BC, and these 2 teams play again next week.
Yeah, there's a chance, and you're right, very likely for Fajardo, but there's a chance you can see 2 different quarterbacks start the game next week that we saw this week with Rourke having his foot iced down as we speak.
Yeah, unfortunate. It is part of it, and you know, you talk to Cody, he's been playing on that knee, and guys like Zach Collaros and pretty much every player in the game is going to have to play through those injuries at some point.
O'Connor out to his right on the run. A nice throw to Katoy. And they'll take that out over midfield. And O'Connor is 3 of 3 since coming in to this football game as the BC Lions look to seal one away on the road in Regina. They lead 28-10. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow. Doubleheader action. Tiger Cats and Alouettes kick off the afternoon, followed by the Stampeders and Argos later on in the day. It all gets underway 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on TSN. Another doubleheader coming your way tomorrow. BC Lions looking to cap off this Friday Night Football doubleheader with their 8th victory of the season. Would go to 8-1, just a couple points back of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Sets up some great storylines in the second half of this CFL season. 2.5 minutes in this one. They'll hand it off. And a nice push here from Butler. A flag about partway through that push ahead. And it's going to come back on a hold.
Michael O'Connor may get his opportunity.
Holding. BC number 51. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
UBC product. Talking to his coaches back then in those days, said he was one of those guys that, you know, rarely ever made the same mistake twice, would learn from them and move on. You know that he has been in that quarterback room with Nathan Rourke for the entire season and looking at how he processes defenses.
Couple of other stops along the way for O'Connor before landing here with the BC Lions. 1st and 20 is what he faces now. And he gets it to Lucky Whitehead. Another flag on the far side of the field this time as Lucky Whitehead hauls in his team leading 8th catch of the game. Would be 7 yards. And now some pushing and shoving near midfield. Both teams separate quickly.
Offside, BC. That penalty is declined. Major foul, crackback block, BC. 15-yard penalty applied after the play. It'll be 2nd down.
That's why you saw a few words being dished out that we can't repeat on the broadcast. And I'll back them up inside the 40 here. Dominique Rhymes, the guilty party there. See if he can come up with a big play here. 35 yards is what they need. Tough stretch starting for the Riders. BC and then BC and then followed back-to-backs against the Blue Bombers. O'Connor quickly once again gets it away to Lucky Whitehead. Went low and was tackled immediately by Edom.
To limit the damage a little bit and punt it away.
Rhymes, who was flagged earlier, once again back in the face of the Riders. Sankey was giving him an earful as well. Eventually somebody pulled Rhymes out of the pile. I think it was his head coach. Well, we've talked a lot about discipline with the team in green so far this year, and Lions getting involved in it a little bit here as well. Pete Robertson, Kevin Francis, still jawing at each other.
Well, this is the penalty here that started it all. There's Dominic Rhymes up there.
After the play, we have a 10-yard misconduct penalty on Saskatchewan. It'll still be 3rd down.
That's illegal now, that crackback block. Can't be outside the tackle box and come back in and blindside a player. That was, I believe, Darnell Sankey.
If you're Rhymes, you're having a pretty good season. Probably just try to let that all slide away right now. Flintoff will kick it away. Low kick. Bounces in. Alford hustles over, scoops it up, and takes it out of bounds just inside his own 15-yard line with 2 minutes and 9 seconds on the clock. And now more flags on the play. So we talked about what's coming up here for the Riders. They get BC again on August 26th, and then, of course, the Labor Day home and home with the Bombers. On the other side for the BC Lions.
After the play, misconduct penalty, BC number 40, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
With the Rourke injury looming here, they get the Riders again on the 26th. And then after that, it'll be Montreal and then a home and home with Calgary in September, which should be really good. Having done that last game, which was just absolutely insane between the Lions and the Stampeders. Very much looking forward to those two in mid-September. Still 2 minutes and 9 seconds here. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail. And a completion to Tevin Jones. Jones is one of these guys who's had some opportunity with the injured receivers out so far. What have you thought of Jones?
Yeah, I mean, he had that one shot at a real deep throws. Take a look at Rourke there with, again, right on the top of his foot, but the ice. But you know, I think he's young. He's finding his way. They do get, as I mentioned off the top, they get Shaq Evans back very quickly. That's the Saskatchewan good news, and Kyron Moore as well. They just got their 2 rush ends back in the lineup after injury. Speaking of injuries, and Pete Robertson and AC Leonard have made a difference tonight. You know, they didn't get the win, but they're a better defense clearly with them in it.
3rd and 4, they'll stay on the field again. A few turnovers on downs. On 3rd down already in this quarter. And that's going to be batted down by the 5'9" Marcus Sales coming up over the top of the line. If I had to pick one guy to bat down a pass at the line tonight, I probably wouldn't have had 14 on the list.
Hey, the little guys can make plays. Weston Dressler went into the Plaza of Honor.
Yes, he did tonight. Special night for him.
Just to the left of your screen, inspirational. You can be 5'9" and 165 or 70 pounds and still be an impact player.
Interception
in
earlier
football,
tonight, too.
absolutely. So if you're a little guy playing minor football, don't worry about it. It's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog that matters.
O'Connor back in, 1:52 left. Working from the Rider 34. They'll just hand it off to Butler right up the middle. Take it down to about the 30.
Yeah, I mean, this is disappointing, obviously, but it's
timeout.
You know,
Saskatchewan.
All of the you know, the pace and the record-breaking pace that he's been on, and the 300+ yard passing games, the last 2 over 400, and just Kid Canada has just been putting on such a great show. You can see the disappointment, and we'll see. I mean, he's going to have to go get x-rayed and all those things in the next 48 hours. We'll know more about the health of Nathan Rourke, and whatever it is, it won't keep him down forever. We'll see him again back on the field.
Prior to the injury tonight, Rourke was 22 of 31 for 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a couple of interceptions along the way. Early again, and then settling in nicely and leading his BC Lions to what's going to be a victory here on the road, and their 5th in a row overall. See the ice once again on the top of the foot for Rourke. Just shy of 3,400 yards at 33.81, 9 games in.
Half a season. Amazing.
They'll hand it off on 3rd down to Butler. give the ball back to the Riders with 80 seconds on the clock. You know, as the Riders offense comes back out here, we talked about it a little bit already. We talked about the receivers that, you know, they haven't had recently. The one guy they have had is Schaefer Baker, and we talked about him a little bit earlier on, but just 2 targets tonight for 2 catches. And at the beginning of the season, even when you thought they might be healthy, you're thinking Schaefer Baker's going to be heavily involved in this offense, and somehow, some way, for some reason, he just hasn't been lately.
No, and you know, he was used on those fly sweeps, or the fly sweep motion where he'd come across the formation, then shoot to the flat, and they'd give it to him in space. And he was doing such a nice job of running with the ball after he caught those little short passes. But yeah, it just hasn't been targeted. I'm not sure if it's not that he's the primary, or it's just the quarterback is going away from him.
Here's an interception at the 45 by Ben Hladek, and Hladek with an athletic play to hurdle over a Rider. 7th turnover of this ball game, and Hladek takes it back down inside the 30. So Mason Fine, who had not thrown an interception since coming into the game, tosses one here, puts him at 210 yards, a touchdown, and now an interception.
Yeah, and the game is out of reach here, but you know, this again goes to that decision for next week. And again, I don't think there's any question that Craig Dickinson will go back to Cody Fajardo. That's his starter. That's his franchise player here. And Mason Fine showed some things tonight, but still very young, and they're going into BC Place to face the Lions in the rematch next week.
2nd interception of the season for Hladek, who's done a nice job stepping in when Lecombo went down with an injury. Hand off to Butler.
That'll be an illegal substitution penalty on the Riders. They had a DB come in late. I believe it was Amari Henderson.
There's no flag on the play.
Oh, well, good. They picked it up. At this point, they can let them play.
Instead of picking them up, let's just tuck them away.
Let's just tuck them away.
Let's just tuck them away.
Let them run this one
anyway. 60 seconds left in this ball game as the clock ticks down. The BC Lions have come in here and ruined the party tonight for the Riders fans. Butler wrapped up before he could get back to the line of scrimmage with 43 seconds on the clock. O'Connor's thrown the ball 5 times, completed all 5 of them for 36 yards. Huge night once again, for the most of it with Rourke at quarterback. Now he stands iced up on the sideline. Whitehead 9 catches, 136 yards tonight. Rhymes 127, so a couple more 100-yard receiving games. And then on the other side, Justin McInnes arriving to the scene. I think a guy that Riders fans have been excited about for a while.
Yeah, breakout game for him. Yeah, real good game for him. You know, you think about the games tomorrow night, and I know that everyone to this point has been talking like it's going to be an automatic crossover this year from the west to the east. Saskatchewan stays now at 5 wins. Montreal and Hamilton, one of those teams are going to win. They go to 4 wins.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, the Lions and the Bombers are atop the West, sort of separated from the rest of the pack. But, you know, I'm not sure that crossover is a guarantee. It's still probable, but it's not a guarantee by a long shot. In tomorrow night's games, one of those 2 teams is going to win and go to 4 wins. Be one. And remember, if you cross over, you have to flat out beat in the standings the Eastern team. You can't cross over and tie that team.
Got to be ahead of them.
Got to be ahead of them.
BC's going to win this game 28-10, the final, but a big loss that we will wait anxiously to see what the news is for Nathan Rourke.
Yeah,
that's the storyline coming out of tonight.
Yeah, we'll be assessing the injury over the next 48 hours. I'm sure there'll be x-rays and medical reports, and we'll find out how long we might be without Kid Canada.
Nathan Rourke, remarkable once again prior to the injury. 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, a couple of interceptions, but took his team to a 28-10 lead in the BC Lions with Rourke iced up on the sidelines still run their way to victory. 28-10 your final. The BC Lions go to 8-1 on the season. The Riders fall to 5-5. That'll do it for us. Let's send it to Sports Center.
Come on in, Canada. This is Sports Center. He is Jermaine Franklin. I am Kelsey Brady. Let's start with some Friday night football. We just saw the game wrap up between the BC Lions and Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Riders trying to prove that maybe they belong with the elite in the West, the BC and the Winnipegs. But you look at this one, and it was Nathan Rourke and the BC Showtime Lions dictating play, of course, until that Nathan Rourke injury late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lions' talent is proving that they could take their game on the road or at home, and not to mention they can overcome mistakes. Now can they overcome adversity? Lions, Roughriders. Nathan Rourke has thrown for over 2,900 yards through his first 8 games. That is the second most since Matt Dunnigan almost 30 years ago. First drive, Rourke going deep. Hits Brian Burnham for 38 yards. Antonio Pipkin punched in a sneak a couple of plays later. That's 7-zip for the Lions. Now in the second, Cody Fajardo going downfield, and he's picked off by former Rider Luches Purifoy. That's Fajardo's second pick of the game and 10th of the season. Now 14-3, Lions offense back to work.
Rourke all the way down the field. Lucky Whitehead, he's got him in midfield, and he's gone to the 40, 30, 20, all the way home. 90 yards for Lucky Whitehead.
See the Tyreek Hill deuces there, Kels? Whitehead's third TD of the year. Rourke's 24th TD pass, 21-3 Lions. Ensuing Riders possession. It's Mason Fine in for Saskatchewan after Fajardo's 2 interceptions late in the half. Fine, looking fine. End zone connects with Justin McInnes for the score. Fine's second career CFL touchdown pass. McInnes' first CFL touchdown catch cuts the lead to 11, but BC came out firing to start the half.
Rourke towards the corner. Burnham, did he hang on? Oh my goodness, spectacular!
Ridiculous!
Unreal.
Another unbelievable catch from Burnham. His 4th score of the year is a highlight reel grab, to say the least. Scary moment in the 4th. Rourke is sacked by Pete Robertson. Needed to be helped off the field. He did not return. Lions do take it 28-10. Nathan Rourke's night ended early, but his incredible season continues. This marks the 6th time he's thrown for over 300 yards in a game. Meanwhile, Cody Fajardo benched in the first half of this one, throwing just 41 yards and 2 interceptions. It's his first game throwing for under 100 yards since July of 2019. For more, let's go to Kate and the panel.
Alongside David Sanchez, Dave Naylor, Milt Stiegel, and the BC Lions pick up another win on the season, but it certainly comes at a heavy cost. Nathan Rourke, once again, having a tremendous game. He was at 375 yards, and then disaster strikes Milt. He goes down with injury. We don't know the severity, but just watching this superstar in the making go down, it was just painful to watch.
And I'm sure the BC Lions are happy for the win, but their concern right now is their young phenom, Nathan Rourke. And you never want to see anyone get injured, and I feel sorry for anyone who gets injured, but you talk about our young superstar quarterbacks. It not only hurt the BC Lions, it hurts the entire league. So let's hope that it's not as serious as it may have looked. You know, he couldn't put any pressure on, he couldn't walk off it on his own, but let's hope he's back sooner than later. Not only for the BC Lions, but for this entire league, because it means so much to have him back on the field playing.
You know, when you watch that replay, what goes through my mind is could have been worse, because you see his foot kind of come out of the turf before the full body of the defender. I think it's Robertson goes on him. We said before this game that the defensive line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders was the biggest opponent that Nathan Rourke would face. And really, they didn't have any breakdowns on protection all game until you see Robertson and A.C. Leonard and everybody come on there. Tough play, and we'll wait and see. Nathan Rourke, good news for the Lions in terms of waiting. After next week when they play the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they have a bye week. So that comes at a good time for them, because presumably Nathan Rourke may need some rest.
You saw the BC Lions team. You saw the doctors You saw his teammates. You saw the media guys. You saw everybody around Nathan. You know the importance, obviously, not just for his team, but for the franchise and the city. The buzz that Nathan has created. And one thing, there's been a real stress on taking care of quarterbacks in this league and protecting quarterbacks. This is why. And that was a completely legal play. But the whole shift on the trajectory of a franchise is on, you know, a guy like this, Nathan. He's just been so great. So hopefully the diagnosis is positive and he's back shortly.
Sticking with the quarterback theme and maybe some controversy now with the Saskatchewan Roughriders after struggling in the first half. Cody Fajardo, he gets pulled in favor of Mason Fine, who goes the rest of the way. So what's going on with this situation, Ches?
I'm not going to do it, Milt, and say that Mason played just fine. But I will say this, Cody, the question for me entering the game about Cody Fajardo was not Cody's decision-making or his leadership, his toughness. It was the zip on the football and the torque he throws the ball with. And I actually thought in the first quarter, he looked better than he looked in the past few weeks. I thought he zipped a few throws. I thought Duke let him down on that one interception. I thought the back didn't pick up the blitz on the other ones. So I didn't think that, in my personal opinion, I didn't think he was terrible. So I thought actually he looked a little better because I liked the torque and the zip he was throwing the football with. Mason Fine showed something, and I think we've come to the point now we need to see other quarterbacks. So a two-quarterback system or guys fighting for this job a little bit, I don't think is the worst thing for the Riders.
Well, I think when we went into this game, we knew there was going to be pressure on Cody Fajardo to throw the football because we knew Nathan Rourke was going to do it and was going to put up points. And ultimately, you know, when Craig Dickinson saw they wasn't getting the production out of him, he played the other hand. But let's go back to July 16th. That's the last time that Cody Fajardo threw for more than 200 yards in a game. And, I mean, since that time, also, he's 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You know, they need better production out of the quarterback spot. And the fact they got it with Fine makes it an interesting decision going forward.
I think the most important thing you said was Craig Dickinson. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to wait to see if Cody Fajardo needs to get healthy or if he's going to start making some plays. He has to see if someone else can come in there and do it. And I think that's why he put Mason Fine in. I think that's the main reason why Mason Fine will be starting next week when they play the BC Lions again.
Yeah, wild to think that we would have thought this game, it's going to be Nathan Rourke versus Cody Fajardo round 2, and now a completely different scenario as we send it back to SportsCenter.
New on SC, Sarah Lesky with Luchez Purifoy.
Because when you look at the win last week in Calgary, it was described, Brian Burnham described it as such an emotional win for this group. To be able to come in here now, get another win on the road, 4 in a row on the road for this team. What does this mean for this group?
We just love each other, man. We play for each other. We play, we hold each other accountable. When we're down, we don't give up on each other, and that's why we clicking right now. Like, you gotta love this team right now. We putting on the show for everybody. And we enjoying the ride and the process.
For this defense, what was key to being able to contain the Riders?
Just playing together, one play at a time, doing what our coach asked us to do. We know if we slow their run game down there, make Cody be a quarterback, and we can win.
For you, what was the reaction, I have to ask, when Nathan Rourke wasn't able to, had to be helped off the field, wasn't able to put pressure on that foot for it? As a teammate, what did you feel?
It's always tough to see somebody like Nate go down. He's a leader of our team, so what we know is man down, man up, and we got his back through it all. So till he get healthy, we're going to have his back. We're going to play 100% for him.
You pulled 2 points within the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Congratulations with this win.
Thank you.